time and care to personal education and to advocate for justice alongside Indigenous peoples. We will now move on to roll call. Senator Chaudhry.
Present.
Senator Claro.
Present.
Senator Gutierrez.
Present.
Senator Harder.
Present.
Senator Hepburn.
Present.
Senator Zhang. Senator Jones. Oh, that's me. Senator Lucan. He's excused. Senator Lee.
Present.
Senator Manala. Senator Manakova.
Present.
Senator Malhis.
Present.
Senator Olaoletan. Senator Ono.
Present.
Senator Pasher.
Present.
Senator Reese.
Present.
Senator Shurkin. Senator Sussman is excused. Senator Sundarajan.
Roxy.
Senator Than.
Here.
Senator Toledo. Senator Wang.
Present.
Senator Wahidullah.
Present.
Okay, thank you all. We will now move into excused absences. I welcome any motions. Senator Harder.
Motion to excuse Senator Lucan until 8:30.
8:30. There's been a motion to excuse Senator Lucan until 8:30. Is there a second? Senator Claro.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Chaudhry. Question has been called. Are there any objections? Thank you. Are there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, the motion passes. Senator Pasher.
Motion to excuse Senator Sussman and Senator Shurkin until 7:30 due to presence at the UCPD lighting walk.
There's been a motion to excuse Senator Sussman and Senator Shurkin until 7:30 PM for their presence at the UCPD lighting walk. Is there a second? Senator Chaudhry.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Harder. But are there any objections? Any objections to the consent? Seeing none, the motion passes. Senator Harder.
A motion to excuse Senator Chaudhry from 8:30 for the duration of the meeting.
There's been a motion to excuse Senator Chaudhry from 8:30 for the duration of the meeting. Is there a second? Senator Reese.
Second.
There's been a second. We're now in discussion. Senator Malhis. Question has been called. Are there any objections? Are there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Senator Pasher.
Motion to excuse Senator Shurkin at 9 PM for the duration of the meeting due to academic obligation.
There's been a motion to excuse Senator Shurkin at 9:30 for the duration of the meeting due to academic obligations. Is there a second? Senator Chaudhry.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Wahidullah.
Question.
Question has been called. Are there any objections?
Consent.
Are there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes.
8:30. Who was the first on that? Sorry.
It was Neil and then it was Senator.
I don't think so. Oh. I don't think I.
Sure, and it was harder after.
Nope.
No, it was,
Chaudhry, I did not. That
it was
was
Harder and Reese.
Harder and Reese. Oh, we're good. It's just.
Okay. Are there any further motions to excuse our senators? Senator Pasher.
Motion to excuse Senator Zhang for the duration of the meeting due to academic obligations.
There's been a motion to excuse Senator Zhang for the duration of the meeting due to academic obligations. Is there a second? Senator Chaudhry.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Wang.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Are there any objections?
Consent.
Are there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes.
Information. If we're gonna accept a proxy and then and also excuse that proxy at a certain time, do we need to accept them first before we do the excusing the proxy, or since we're in excused absences, I can excuse that proxy before we accept them? That makes sense, sorry.
I think John is for the whole meeting.
Asking if we need to accept the acceptance of the proxy first before we excuse them. I mean, I think it's because we're doing it like in advance that it'll, you know, it's not taken into account. I think one more.
Ja, we kan finish the
Actually,
discussion
we don't need-
first. You
Hmm?
You can finish the discussion first and then we'll just start the process.
We're gonna continue with the rest of the excusals and then we'll go into the acceptance process. Thank you. Okay. Any further? Okay.
Motion to excuse Ola BC Ola Olaitan for the duration of the meeting due to academic obligations.
There's been a motion to excuse Senator Ola Leighton for the duration of the meeting due to academic obligations. Is there a second? Senator Chaudhry?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Wang,
Call the question.
question has been called. Are there any objections? Are there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes.
Motion to excuse Senator Wong from 8:20 to 9:40 PM.
There's been a motion to excuse Senator Wang from 8:20 to 9:40 PM. Is there a second? Senator Chaudhry?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion.
All the votes.
Senator Tan?
It's not.
Oh, you're right. Call the question. Thank you. Question has been called. Are there any objections? Are there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Senator Thin,
Motion to excuse Senator Jones at 9 PM.
there's been a motion to excuse Senator Jones at 9 PM. Is there a second? Senator Chaudhry?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Wong,
Call the question.
question has been called. Are there any objections? Are there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to move into the acceptance of proxies. Are there any motions? Senator Malhis,
Motion to accept proxy Aryan Gandecha for proxying for Sohan Sundaresan until 9 PM.
thank you. There's been a motion to accept Ariane Gundachan as a proxy for Sohan Sundarajan until 9 PM. Is there a
Gandecha,
second?
it shows the end with an A.
And with an A.
Yes. No, this last N, it's Gandecha.
Senator Chaudhry. Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Wahidullah.
Question.
Question has been called. Are there any objections? Any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Any other proxies present? Okay, we will now move into item B, external reports. Is there anyone present for Chancellor's representative? UCPD representative? GSA representative? University Center Governance Board representative? IBCSD representative? Okay, without any objections, we will now move into item D, public forum.
Consent.
Okay, first on the list for public forum, do we have Lily Masia? Yeah. Okay. Please let me know if I mispronounced your name.
No, yeah, it's Nikita.
Oh, thank you. Yes, have to read. And then it starts. Okay, so welcome. I will now read the speaking agreements. You have 3 minutes to speak with 3 minutes for Q&A. Please state your name, pronouns, and enunciate, but refrain from yelling. Speculation of a senator's intentions is prohibited and may result in your removal from the ability to speak on the floor. Please note this meeting is being recorded. You may speak on any issue, whether it is on the agenda or not. Please include a content warning if it will be graphic. You may only come up once and you may choose not to answer questions. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, you may begin.
How's it going? It's my first time here, so bear with me, but we are presenting a project that we've been working on for the past few months. It's to reimagine and reinvest in the eternal flame, which sits, I'm sure many of you know it, between the library and Ellison Hall. It's often out, so it's not always a flame, but we're looking to fix some of its flaws. It was donated by the class of 1968 during the civil rights movement. It's part of the reason we have the Black Studies Department here at UCSB. And it emits fossil fuel gas all the time, and it costs about $1,200 a year in utilities. Seeing that we are the greenest UC and one of the most carbon-friendly universities in the United States, we think not only is this not in line with the carbon neutrality goals, but it's also not in line with the environmental justice movement.
No, yeah. So basically our idea is to essentially use LED technology, which was pioneered here on campus. And we believe that this monument should be both reinvested and reimagined to honor the original intent, as well as update it to keep it in line with our campus community goals. So essentially we've already reached out to the Department of Political Science, Black Studies, and Environmental Studies, and they have all signed on to our sign on. I sent it to Senator Sussman, but I don't know if he added it to the agenda. But I can for sure get into all of the information. We've also got support from the AS president as well as the Black Women's Health Collaborative, and we're meeting with the Black Student Union as well. As for funding, we're pursuing the Green Initiative Fund, which they've given us a kind of assured $25K for funding. But we've met with facilities as well, and they've estimated that it will be around $35K. And for design, we've kind of collaborated with the Black Studies Department on the idea of creating like a campus-wide initiative for input, and we're looking for artist design currently. So that kind of leads us to our ask. We'd greatly appreciate Senate support and in this interdisciplinary project. So we anticipate a $10K financial ask from Senate unallocated to reinvest in honoring the campus's Black Studies Black student activism and better align with our campus sustainability goals. We appreciate your time and we hope to count on your support. So thank you.
Thank you. Will you be taking any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, senators. Senator Lee?
I know you said that currently it costs like $1,200 a year. So is the $10,000 you're asking a one-time cost, or is this like a recurring cost?
It's a one-time cost, just for it's upfront kind of. Also, we can get the monument. There's already electricity actually running out to the site, so that wouldn't be a concern.
Got it, thank you.
Okay, Senator Claro?
How many signatures have you guys got?
We don't have like a long running petition for the student body, but we have, I don't know what the exact number is. We have the chairs and vice chairs of Black Studies, Political Science and Environmental Studies, as well as student organizations like the Associated Students Black Women's Health Collaborative, Lobby Corps, and various others, Zero Waste Commission, and many other associate professors as well that have been in like the faculty meetings that we've attended.
We can definitely send it to you all as well.
Senator Finn?
Yeah, thank you so much for coming in. Since you did say that Black Women's Health Collective, Zero Waste Commission, Lobby Corps signed on, how much money are they planning to give you guys? Given that Senate unallocated is usually kind of a, not last resort, but there's a finite amount, and we try to encourage the BCUs to be able to support initiatives, since we want them to use as much of their money as possible, and we've seen issues with people having large amounts of rollover.
Yeah, so as for Lobby Corps, I can address that personally. I am the local affairs co-chair for Lobby Corps, but I am working on this as an independent student. So for that issue, it's more so kind of, we haven't received sufficient staff support as of recent, which makes us have to schedule all of our flights, hotels, everything really late. So that kind of eats up all of our funds. The only reason that we even had rollover as of last year is because of the fact that we weren't able to schedule a trip. So that's just for we have reached out to a lot of the different organizations. We haven't received much feedback. It was more so, okay, we're willing to sign on, but we're definitely interested in pursuing the BCU funding as well. But as of now, it's kind of, you know, more so just an interest in signing on.
Senator Wahidullah?
Yeah, tying on to similar what Senator Dan mentioned in particular. Also, thank you again for you guys coming today. I think this is a great initiative, and I have communicated with you on the perspective of Lobby Corp as well. But just tying into that, particularly you mentioned about you have collaborative any alternative VCUs such as Lobby Corps or like BWHC and Zero Waste Commission regarding towards just like the long-term funding and like from the fiscal impact specifically. Have you also communicating when it comes to reinvigorating this initiative and project about also collaborating with them for other alternative things to improve this project as well. Like you mentioned about like sustainability when it comes to like renewable energy resources, have you like communicated with like EAB or Zero Waste Commission particularly to help maybe make this into a renewable energy source as well? Just things to improve it, not only from the physical impact way, but also to improve some alternative as well of BCs.
We're working closely with Matthew Schoen as co-chair of the Zero Waste Commission. He's had some really insightful stuff concerning either of our environmental studies for science majors. We both come from the political science department. Kind of left the materials aspect and sustainable aspect up to some of the other people we've been working with. As
I was gonna say, as for environmental affairs, we
You can finish.
Okay, thank you. We've reached out to them and a lot of them are waiting on like communication and further sign-ons from like the Black Student Union, which we're actively working in collaboration to get their sign-on. We're supposed to have a meeting with them as stuff like that. So I think a lot of it is contingent upon some sign-ons that we're still waiting for, but we're still in communication. So I think that's.
Thank you. That is all the time we have for questions. If you find it imperative, I would welcome the motion, but to be respectful of everyone's time tonight is something I'd like to keep at the forefront of the mind. So. Senator Ono?
First of all, thank you for coming in. I just want to dive in a bit.
Wait, we're we're out of time,
Do you
so
want me to motion for
keep it minimal.
like a minute?
Sure.
I'd like
Senator
a
Ono.
motion to add 1 minute to question time.
We don't use it.
Okay, we'll do 5. Let's have 5 minutes to question time.
Okay, there's been a motion to add 5 minutes to the question time. Is there a second? Senator Pasher? Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Hepburn?
Question.
Question has been called. Are there any objections? Consent? Any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Okay. Senator Ono?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for coming in. I think this is really cool. I was just wondering if you could dive in a bit on like the cost breakdown of it as well as like the design that you guys are looking to implement.
Right, we don't have like a blueprint at this moment in time. We're working with Kurt Fields, is R&D engineer in the chemical engineering department. Working close with him and trying to make it an independent study project, maybe. As far as the physical side of it, it's gonna be all implementation and hard costs, you know? It's gonna be, we're thinking benches, we're thinking of, we get flattened area and making this a fixture that, you know, is just gonna be a lot more meaningful. At the very least, it needs beautification anyways. I mean, it's been wear and tear, the stones are fully cracked.
Yeah.
The plaques are oxidized and rusted, and just to repair it, I think it would be a few $1,000s. So we're taking this advantage opportunity to maybe reimagine the whole thing.
Okay, Proxy Gundecha? Please correct me if I mispronounce your last name.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. To mention a little bit more on the fiscal side, have you guys thought about coming out to Finance and Business Committee? Because reality is, with the EAB and SCORE, we have both created MOUs. So that means that regardless of how EAB has to deal with their own funds, there's a set of rollover funds that we can access in accordance with them. So if you'd like, honestly, I think it's a fund that's often hard to use because of the lack of projects of this such. So I think honestly, it's a great idea to come to F&B on Monday, apply as an independent project. The only issue is you'll likely have to connect to an RCO in order to receive that funding. So you guys could find an RCO on campus that would like to work with you guys, and they can essentially be your financial back roll for that side of the funding. And we could probably provide support from F&B or BCU itself, yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Senator Harder?
Okay, 2 things. 3 things. First one is to say I think that this is a really awesome project, really cool. Second thing is to make you guys aware that I'm the executive of like 3 RCOs, and all 3 would be very willing to get involved in that in any capacity. And then the third thing is maybe a little bit of advice about the design.
I would like to interject, real quick. Can we just tighten it up and keep it to questions? And if we want to extend like advice to follow up with like email, please, quick, just going forward, please,
Going forward, can I give advice though, really quick?
real quick.
In the future, when asking for money, it's maybe a good idea to have a design, just so that we don't fund something that gets turned into like a big middle finger on campus or something like that. Like, we wanna know what it looks like, you know? Outside of that though, you guys are brilliant, love it.
No, yeah, the intent is to stay with like pretty much the original design.
Oh, perfect. That just went over my
That's a
head.
great question.
Yeah.
Senator Hepburn?
What is this practically gonna look like? Cause I'm imagining a beam in the sky. I know there's laws about that.
Yeah, we talked with engineering about that as well. There has been like the idea floating around of kind of 3D printing of foam shape and then wrapping like LED beads around it to try to like help maintain that same flame. But that's why we're kind of putting together that.
We're working on it. The facilities has mentioned the risk of light pollution and they're on top of it. I'm sure like any design or blueprint that goes through them, it will get vetoed if it has any sort of light pollution. Like I said, we're not designers, we're not environmental science students. We're trying to recruit people to get on that, but like I said, it's in the works, working on it, and I'm apologize for not having a hard design at this point.
Senator Pasha?
Thanks for coming in, guys. I think it's a great project. Campus beautification is really important. I myself have been really having some projects on a very far back burner. But if I can get in contact with you guys to maybe like pitch those ideas to you at a different time, I would love to get in contact with you. So I don't know if you wanna take this down, if you have a pen and paper in front of you or a phone or something, or you can look at the minutes. I don't know, however, maybe. My email is as-npascher@ucsb.edu. And I'd love to get in contact with you. Thank you for what you're doing, and campus beautification is important. So good work, guys.
Thank you.
Great, with that, thank you guys for coming up.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it.
Okay. Next on the list for public forum, we have Eddie Barajas and Jennifer Phoenix. Oh, right, okay, got it. Oh, okay, perfect. Would you like me to repeat the speaking agreement?
No, I think I'm okay.
You may begin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eddie and I'm with Josie, who's on Zoom, but I'll be doing most of the talking. We're here to ask for some funding for an event that we wanted to host. Notably, it would be a fireside chat, so an interview on campus, likely in Campbell Hall with Andrew Yang, former presidential candidate for the Democratic Party in 2020. We went to F&B to pitch the funding, to which it got fully approved. However, program board listed it didn't meet their mission statement and didn't fund us. Talked to them, trying to figure something out. They ended up partially funding us just earlier today. So we got funding for everything that wasn't the speaker fee. And we wanted to see if there's a way that we could work out to with Senate to get some of the speaker fee covered. I would be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. I don't know if Josie would like to say anything and add on prior to asking some questions.
Yeah, let me just add one thing. Hi, everyone. I'm a voice in the sky today. In terms of funding, so when we went to finance on Monday, we asked for $60,000. The initial idea was that that money was going to come out of the ASPB MOU. $60,000 was approved to come out of that MOU from the finance committee, but F&B only signed off on $10,000 coming out of that fund. So our thought process now is that we need to get the rest of the money from somewhere else. We're hoping that it might be possible at this meeting to potentially, I don't know if you can go back into the finance committee meeting minutes or change anything before they're ratified to make it so that our approval for a different chunk of the money can come out of the finance committee fund as opposed to the ASPB MOU. And we also are interested in guys considering moving the $10,000 that we asked for back in August, September time for our Salute Carbajal event that got postponed indefinitely. If we could move that 10K over to this project to go towards the speaker fee that we're trying to pull together money for. That's all I have to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? You guys will be accepting questions? Okay. Are there any questions from the senators? Senator Hepburn?
Is there any interest in having a Republican candidate or speaker, or it's just Yang?
In the future at some point, we also want to do non-political based candidates. We started off with politicians because they're easier to nap down because they're more used to doing speaker type of events. Notably, I would really love to try to get in contact with Richard Pendler or George Lucas. I think they're people that people would want to see at UCSB. Though we did start with political based people.
Sorry, but
Go ahead.
I can also add that Andrew Yang has been running on an independent platform recently and has actually been pushing for the creation of a new political party. He doesn't brand himself as part of the Democratic Party, so it's not, we're not trying to create any sort of partisanship within our series or within this speaker event in general. We're honestly excited to hear what that unique perspective might be on the future of democracy in general.
Thank you. Senator Pasher, you had a question? No? Okay. Senator Ono?
So I know that like getting Campbell Hall is very expensive. So I was just wondering like what the breakdown is of like the speaker fee versus like the operation of Campbell Hall.
Yeah, so Campbell Hall is $1,700. Then security in total will be around $6,000. That includes 8 security officers plus 3 metal detectors and 2 police officers. And that's in accordance with Brad Pollard, who is the lieutenant of UCPD. Then there's an additional $1,000 as well to go to reporting. And reporting the event will allow students who couldn't make it or as future gauchos, previous gauchos to see the event. We also hope to generate some revenue from that, and that would go straight back into the association or help fund future events of this like. And then the largest cost would be the speaker fee, which includes area for speaking, and then also travel and hotel lodging is in that, and that I think is just above 40,000.
Senator Claro?
Politics aside, I think the idea of speakers coming into UCSB is pretty good. But do we have like requirements set for the speakers? Like, for example, if we were to get somebody hypothetically, can they not be considered because they speak political hate on social media, for example?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an interesting question and runs into freedom of speech. I do know, so we've been in contact with government relations on this. So they're a small office under the chancellor's office. And I know one big thing is that people running for political office cannot, I guess, really campaign here, and we can't give an endorsement. So let's say if he was running, we couldn't say UCSB or we endorse Andrew Yang of any sort. There are some regulations from the UC on that front. Part of the reason why we chose Yang as well is because we felt like he wouldn't be a controversial figure.
Senator Walters?
Motion to extend the speaker's time and Q&A time by 10 minutes.
10 or 2?
10.
10 minutes. Okay, there's been a motion to expand the speaker's Q&A time by 10 minutes. Is there a second? Senator Faudree? Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Wahidullah?
The question.
Question has been called. Are there any objections? Consent. Are there any objections to the consent? Okay, seeing none, motion passes. Senator Wahidullah?
I just have a brief question. Thank you again for coming today to speak about this. I can probably just go over and just look into more elaborate detail regarding to the finance committee minutes about this, but I wanted to hear more from your individual perspective. But can you provide more entailing detail about like why, or if you're incapable of disclosing about it publicly today, that's like fine. But like if you could maybe expand a little bit further about why this particular initiative is not tying into what the AS Program Board's mission about funding this project, or
yeah, I mean, that's an excellent question. And I don't know, in truth, I really don't know. From what program board has told me, and so we've been trying to work with them on this, and there were some issues of some comments that he had said back, and these were cited in articles back in 2020 when he was running for president in 2021. However, I have not been sent from program board any of these comments. They have told me that there were some things that they didn't like about Yang specifically. However, nothing was cited on my end, and Josie can comment as well on that. I wasn't saying anything.
okay, yeah, of course, thank you.
I can give a brief comment. I think what Eddie said is right. There's honestly been a little bit of contention about whether or not this event does or does not support program board's mission. Programs board's mission is very specific into encouraging students like Eddie and I to take on projects like this, where we get the experience of putting on a big event like this, which is really cool. And then The mission also states that they're looking for opportunities that are educational and culturally diverse and entertaining. And to us, this event absolutely fits into that category. When we've talked to program board about it and when we've been trying to get funding for it from them, they have brought up this idea that things that Andrew Yang has said before don't match the values that program board has to an extent. And so it's not necessarily the event that doesn't fall into their mission, but it's an issue with the speaker in particular, and whether or not that really can be counted, like if that is outlined in their mission and if that's a correct application of this event falling into their mission, we're not, I mean, I'm not going to say we're not arguing with it, because we did go back to them to try to get as much money as possible from them for this event, which is why they're funding everything but the speaker fee, and they don't want their branding on this event. But the idea is that the event is good and they don't love the speaker that we've picked. However, we are incredibly confident that the event will be very controlled and influential, and that a lot of the student body is excited about having the speaker come here, and it'll be a really great learning opportunity for everyone.
Yeah, I guess really quick, one thing that's really awesome about this opportunity is that Josie and I are, and along with the student body as well, are going to be dictating the conversation. So when a student wants to come to this event, they're going to be able to submit questions that they would like to ask, and we're going to pull from those and ask those directly. This is not Andrew Yang coming to campaign. This is not him. I mean, I guess he gets to share his opinions, but really, mold what students get to hear. If, for example, like the Pete Buttigieg talk that happened on April 22nd earlier this year, Pete came, gave a presentation, and then sat down with a moderated Q&A. This is completely different. This is students at UCSB putting their voices on a national level, controlling the conversations and letting people know that we want to be heard, which is another thing as well as to why we felt that this would be really successful.
Senator Mahis?
I just sent the Senate the request that Coastal Conversations has sent Finance Committee with the line item breakdown. So essentially, I think what the Senate should focus on is not like program board anymore, because program board ended up funding 10K. So our solution right now is to figure out how to fund the remainder of their event, which consists of their speaker fee. If Barajas can elaborate. So you said you wanted a 35K. Would that include a 10K allocation from the Carbon Hall event? Or would that be additional to that?
Right, so I guess the initial proposal was 60, and then we got the 10K from program board. So that means there's 50 left, right? We have 10K right now that has been previously approved for Salud Carbon Hall's event. And just as a reminder, the reason why that event got canceled was due to the government shutdown. So a few days before the event, government shut down, and we were told by his team that they can't do the event. We followed up a few weeks later, asking again if we could reschedule. They told us we still can't, government shutdown. Government shutdown still persists to this day. I mean, there's really no end in sight, which is why we haven't done that. What we're asking is for that remaining 50K, if the 10K from that can go over to the Salud Carbon Hall, from the Salud Carbon Hall event to this, and that would leave us with 40K left, or really 35. There is a little bit of a buffer in there. So we're hoping to fund really up to 35K from either one fund or two funds and try to see how we can get that to work. As for the Salud Carbon Hall event, because we still would love to have that later this year, now that we are established as an RCO for longer than 5 weeks, we can go back to Finance Committee and Program Board and see if they want to do that speaker. The reason why we went through Senate the first time is that we weren't a registered RCO fully approved back then, and it was the summer, and that was supposed to happen October 6th, which I believe was week 1 or week 2 of the school year. And Finance Committee had met for the first time, I think that day, which is why we went through that path. For future events, it would be going through Finance Committee and Program Board, finding speakers that they would be more willing to fund as well. So that's the plan.
Thank you. If you could get that in writing and send it over to Senate leadership, the actual request for the transfer of funding, that would be really helpful.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Any further questions? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Josie, on Zoom as well. Is anyone else present for public?
I guess I can go again.
Oh.
Completely different topic.
Oh.
Sorry, so I guess I'll, whenever my time begins.
Go ahead.
Okay, my apologies. I've been working on a project, actually two projects for a considerable amount of time since fall quarter freshman year. And one of which right now we're collaborating with the Office of the President. Evan, I think is still in his meeting. He was going to come to public forum, but I'll just speak now. One thing we are really focusing on is some additional meal plan reform. As we know, there is brand new system for meal plan stuff this year and students are loving it. But in my formal opinion, I don't think it's done nearly enough. And I think there's a lot more that still can be gained, notably for the meal plans to also work at the retail dining locations. So at every other UC campus, you get a meal plan freshman year. You can go to their version of the USEN and get food. You can go to the Arbor, you can get food. They have food trucks that come to campus and you can get food. You can get Grubhub with your meal plan. You go home for the weekend, you can get Grubhub with your meal plan. So that's one of the ideas is how can we add a retail dining option with the meal plan as it not being just residential. We would like to work with some senators on this. It's very difficult. I'm a very busy person and there's a few things that I don't have that Senate does, notably leverage and a bit of time and I get to meet a lot and meet very late. But we would really love to work with some people who know what Senate can do to put some pressure on HDAE to get this done. I know one thing is it's very difficult to get in contact with HDAE. I would walk into their offices once a week, every week, and they would ignore me and ignore me and ignore me. Versus at UCR, I called the phone number that was listed there. I met with their director immediately, set up a meeting, and he has a once a month open town hall with all of UCR students that people can just attend. It's been very difficult to contact Jill Horst, and she's been very closed off to students, and I think it's a shame that our meal plan is not up to par to other schools.
Senator Harder?
I happen to have a personal relation, not personal, but more intimate relationship than most students with Jill Horst. I've spoken to her on many occasions, so I would be happy to facilitate that liaison between the two. If that's something that would be helpful.
Senator Wahidu?
I mean, just to put in more, I guess, concrete, just expression of detail, what you're asking about, just like not only from like collaboration with particular senators, but just like more of just the leverage component about communicating with like administration, or are you asking also for maybe just like any other alternative things from the senators to ask about?
Yeah, I guess, so these two projects, and I haven't even spoken about the other one, but that's not for today. You know, I've been working on this alone, and any sort of movement requires momentum. I'm a physics major, momentum is mass times velocity. So I either gotta do things faster or I gotta get more people. And I think we're at the point where getting some more people and people who really love advocating for the student body is what we need. So getting some collaboration and knowing, you know, for example, I know there is some Senate motions that blocked the demolition of the, sorry, it's late, the Student Health Center. And I know there are probably some things that we can do to get some leverage on meal plan reform.
Senator Claro?
Thank you for coming. I think the idea, the initiative, I think is pretty good considering the fact that 40 million Americans right now don't have any of their benefits coming out, and so does 5,000, I think, of their students. So my question is there like a net cost to students? Understand that this would, it's the meal plans, but would this cost additionally to students?
Yeah, so that's a good question.
I would like to recognize Senator Buchan. Welcome.
Yeah, so one of the biggest pushbacks I've gotten from Jill Horst is that changing the meal plan really in any way, shape, or form could or would increase costs for students. And one of the things that she cares the most about too, so the thing that she cares most about is decreasing costs for meal plan costs. In the proposal that I have, and it's been sadly the same proposal for the last 2 years, it was a good one. It would, in my opinion, wouldn't increase costs at all for students. And if anything, I think it would disproportionately help students from lower income backgrounds because it would allow them to use their financial aid on this new meal plan system. I personally am a student who's fully funded off of FAFSA and financial aid. And there are already like literally one change that we could make that would allow me to eat more often in the USEN. Notably, that Gaucho Bucks is a system that does exist on campus. It's a system that every other UT has.
You can finish.
However, students cannot purchase the Gaucho Bucks through BARC. And that would allow me to use my financial aid and scholarships on that. And that's one of the changes on there.
Thank you so much. Anyone else present for public forum? Maybe a third project you're working on.
I'll give it 20 seconds if that's okay. Now, I will mention that proposals, like visual formal proposals have been made for both of these. The third is a bit in line with the Flame. It's another campus beautification project. Notably, if any of you guys have visited UCLA, there are banners on every single light pole at UCLA. And I've been in contact with Monica Sue, who runs the banner system at UCLA. And I think it'd be excellent to have those at UCSB. I spoke with Sean a few days ago. I think it was yesterday. It's been a long few days. And he mentioned that AS actually has some digital designers. I've met with the marketing head of this school to get this done. Big problem is cost. I think this would be an excellent high impact project. Put banners on every single light pole at UCSB. I know AS policy requires it to say AS UCSB. And if you do that, I think it's a good way to make AS UCSB known absolutely everywhere on campus. I think it does an excellent thing. I mean, I spoke to admissions and they love the idea because people take photos as they walk around campus and they would say UCSB everywhere, post those online and create very natural marketing for the school.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions?
Yeah, I'll take questions.
Oh yeah, thank you, Ross, for bringing up these amazing projects that you're working on. I don't know how you have time to study. But on the beautification project, I know you mentioned, I just want to give it to you right now as your resource. I know I should have done this over email and I will be emailing you, but Creative Media Unit and AS Media Center are probably the ones you want to look for support. And they have funding. So if we're looking to funding as well, you can help develop that project with them. And I'll be reaching out to you on behalf of our committee and as a senator on this. Thank you.
Senator Mulvey?
I think both of these projects are great, but since we're on the discussion of the second one, I totally agree with this entire project. I think our campus looks quite ugly. I went to my friend at SDSU and they had a huge like, I don't know, projector screen that like literally said, it was like so large. I don't know if we can get one at UCSB, but it was like, I don't know, it was like a huge screen that just said Associated Students SDSU Aspects. And I was like, whoa, we don't have anything saying Associated Students. Like, I'm sure everyone on the campus has seen that like wide projector, but nobody still knows about Associated Students because there's one building written really tiny, maybe Associated Students on it, and people don't realize that it's there. So I feel like just bringing more banners and beautifying the school is such a big thing, and I'd also be really happy to help work out the logistics of the finances for its project as well.
You can't take a 360 at UCLA's campus without seeing UCLA. I think I would love you to try to find UCSB somewhere on this campus.
Thank you. I would like to reiterate to the senators to try to keep it to questions, please. Again, we can always follow up with our speakers with comments and concerns and whatnot, advice. So yeah, any other questions, Senator Pasha?
Sure, I'll phrase mine in a question. For a question first of whatever. Anyways, yes, my home campus is UCLA. I am from LA. I love UCLA as much as I love UCSB. I think it's a great campus. I'll ask, will you come to advocacy committee meeting or will you have a meeting with me so that we can work together on this? I would be glad to set aside an hour a week to get this up and running, and it should be pretty quick. So I don't know if you need my email address or anything like that, but it's as-npascher@ucsb.edu. If you want to look at the minutes, it'll be up there, or the replay of the YouTube video.
Yeah, I'd love to meet. I will say one of my concerns is my access to time. I'm practically triple majoring and have a lot of projects. So to me, but I think we can get through.
Sure. We have 30 seconds left for Q&A. Senator Wang.
Sorry, I was present when you spoke about this last year, and one of the things that came up was that the UC wanted you to store these banners, which was strange, and the senators were talking about if they're up, why do we need a storage space? But I was wondering if you were able to get this resolved.
Yeah, I think it was actually a Senate policy. I think Senate had passed a policy that anything that associated students would have to pay that you guys would have to store on your own. And that was something that was pretty confusing. And then senators were asking, we just passed this policy. How can we store banners throughout? I don't think it's a UC thing.
Thank you so much. Anyone else present for public forum?
It's okay, just.
Okay, seeing no further guests and without any objections, we'll move into item I. Is there anyone present for President's Cabinet report? Executive Director's report?
Good evening, everyone. A pretty quick little update here for everyone. I am still actively working on our staff reorganization. One large feature of that, I meant to send you a screenshot, and I can do that later after the meeting. Of the new staff reorg is that we're going to use working groups extensively. And what that means is groups of staff and students. So that work together to, I have a little cheat sheet, give feedback, advise each other, and participate in solutions. So I'm sure you've been in meetings where a lot is discussed, but nothing happens. This is the opposite of that. You'll discuss a lot and you'll actually assign tasks and do things from there and take them back to your supervisor, take them back to your group. We're gonna have ones related to facilities, because we have so many facilities with NAS. We're gonna have some related to communications. We're gonna have one related to media and development, student governance, procurement, like all things that are big combinations. Like, for example, marketing communication, I have right now 6 different staff, but then president office rep, Senate outreach chair, student social media coordinator from CMU. Like all people will need to coordinate on these matters because right now I think we have a lot of different areas that aren't talking to each other. There'll be one suggestion that came up from me just talking about this is student well-being. Because we have COSWEB and PMHC, and I don't know how much they communicate with each other or communicate with their other advisors. And I think we need to bring all that together. And these working groups would be good additions. Even if they only meet once a week, every 2 weeks, once a quarter, I think can go a long way to help like streamline the work of the organization. And also be students and staff working together towards a common goal. And I like that a lot. Applications here. And just a little, this is not an extensive definition, but I've heard some conflation a little bit of like BCUs versus RCOs and like what the difference is between them. And it's not a hard and fast difference, to be sure. Kind of in my head, BCUs have missions and RCOs generally have common themes. Right, so like you join an RCO because you like a certain activity, and sometimes you join a BCU, volunteer, get honorary, or whatever it is, because you have a mission that you want to fulfill. Right, you want to improve campus life, you want to provide a service, you want to experience a leadership opportunity. You would like the group dynamics applies to both. You want to experience the internal processes of campus because who doesn't want to do that? So all the different things that are kind of the differences between BCUs and RCOs, it's not hard and fast because there are RCOs that do go out into the world to provide a service and do have missions that are very similar to some of our missions that are for our BCUs. But that's generally how I like to phrase it in my head. So I just wanted to put that out there, apropos of nothing. And in general, that's it. I'm open to any questions about any of that or anything else that's come up.
Thank you, Senator Malkis.
Okay, so I know like since we're on the topic of like kind of distinguishing what's the difference between a RCO and a BCU. So technically, I know like what's the grounds if an RCO wants to become like a BCU? Like if you can elaborate on process,
right?
How that will like happen?
Right now it's a little simplified, and I know there's been discussion about changing that in the future, right? And it doesn't happen very often. I know it happened last year. I believe, and Holly can correct me if I'm mistaken here, that it's kind of as simple as them coming here and asking the Senate. And I know there's been discussion of making it a little bit different. So I've heard, and this is not me suggesting, I've heard suggestions of like sponsorship, where a existing BCU can sponsor a group that wants to become a BCU, whether that's a transfer from RCO or just from scratch, or getting signatures, or like I've heard a lot of these suggestions, but that's not how it works right now. Right now, it is as simple as like the Senate will vote on it and then it will exist. And I think it might just be 2/3 to pass that, but I think that's it. And when you create a new BCU, obviously that there's a lot that go into that, right? Because it's their entire who earns honoraria, who doesn't, who is the advisor for that group, and does it fill the mission of the association? And because also there's a big difference between an RCO and a BCU just in what is a campus affiliate, and RCOs are in the weird middle ground where they're like, yes, they're affiliated with campus, but they're also their own thing. And then when they're a BCU, then that own thing goes away and it's like, no, you're a part of campus. For all the pros and cons to both of those things. Yeah.
You, any other questions? Senator Harder?
Thank you, Chair. I was just wondering when the next staff meeting is actually. It's all.
That meeting is tomorrow at 1 in this room.
Thank you.
Also hybrid.
I'd also like to formally recognize Senator Sussman. Any last questions? Senator Pesci? No. Okay, thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you.
Is anyone here for executive officer's report? Senator representative reports? Administrative reports? You wanna come up? Sure. Okay, well, do you want me to read the speaking agreement?
If you really want to.
You need it?
No.
No, okay, then you're good.
Okay,
Can you repeat your name for those who don't?
so I'm Caleb Hansen. I am the chair of the elections board. Most of you probably were at my long speech that I have to give to you guys when you guys ran. I'm basically just here for a couple things. One, elections board is moving smoothly. We always meet at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. If you guys want to pull up before a Senate meeting, don't feel like you have to. You can always email me. I'm mainly here today just to tell you about a communication you're about to get from us. So as a lot of you probably know, we passed the Representative Parties Act last election, which essentially allows for political parties to be a part of AS again. So we've had a continual turnout problem for the last, we'll say since COVID. And we think as an elections board that adding political parties back into our system will aid with this. You are all about to get an email, as well as all of the political science department, as well as all of the school about forming parties. Obviously, we're not trying to have 30 parties or every senator have their own party. That would kind of defeat the own purpose. But if you are like truly passionate about continuing in AS politics next year, if you really have a vision and want to make a manifesto and have people in your party, we're going to send out an email. It's going to talk about reaching out to us, and there will be a whole info night. That's basically all I have. If you have questions, I can answer them.
Sarah?
Thank you for coming. Just quick question on that. And can it apply to the Senate parties that applies?
You guys want to establish parties, feel free. If you guys want to make groupings, it's not illegal. You guys didn't run. Parties are mostly in our constitution as a mechanism of campaigning and running. Like you get elected under that platform, but we don't really regulate what you guys do here.
Proxy Convention.
Is there limitations in terms of how much BCUs can be involved in parties and stuff like that, or are they kind of open to interpretation in terms of what groups can affiliate with parties?
Yeah, so basic rule of thumb is BCUs cannot participate in elections unless they have something on the ballot, and even then they can't use AS resources. On the flip side, a political party can campaign for a BCU, like say like one of the old parties used to be the Stork Party, and say they wanted to increase funding to the bike committee. That would be okay, but you can't go the other way around. You can't have like the AS bike committee endorsing the Stork Party.
Sorry, just a quick follow-up. So, but when you say endorsement, is that in fiscal regards or is that in verbal agreement as well? Like, could you verbally endorse or is it just no financial support?
You cannot verbally, no AS entity can endorse anyone in an AS election.
Okay.
Senator Harder?
Thank you, Chair. Are there any limits to the parties? I mean, the one you just mentioned is obviously a limit, but are there anything else that we should be aware of immediately?
You can't run more people than there are positions. You can only run one person per position. So like if we have 5 on-campus senators, you can only run 5 on-campus positions. That's basic. There's financial regulations, there's rules about like running as a party does do an increased risk, whereas candidates get 3 infractions before they're kicked out. If a party gets 5 infractions, because it becomes in the party hierarchy to oversee your people. So if the party gets 5 infractions, that entire party can be disqualified. So there are benefits and detriments.
Thank you. Have you spoken to us already on the?
No.
No, okay, no, just checking. Senator Harder, go ahead.
Yes, can you, I need to educate myself more on those parties. In the email, are you gonna be able to identify where in legal code / anything else that we need to be aware of? Can you do that for us?
Yeah, and I can make it pretty easy.
Yeah.
All of elections code is section 18.
Right.
In the bylaws, and then we have section 11 in the Constitution. Party affiliation is Article 18, section 5 or 6. So if you want to look in our legal code, that's where you find it.
Cool.
And I encourage everyone to read our entire legal code, especially about elections, because I have to do it and I hate it.
Thank you. The time for questions is up, unfortunately.
Point of information.
Yes.
It's more so a question to you. Would the 76th Senate be able to do that coming from leadership? Like, what do you guys think?
That is definitely something that we need to discuss further with elections board as well. So I think there needs to be a further discourse before we put down a yes or no answer.
Give a personal recommendation, that would be no.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hey guys.
Back. Okay.
Yep.
Chair Awareness Party.
Anyone else present for administrative reports? Or any general items? Oh. Yes.
I've got kind of a semi-lengthy one for you guys today. There's a couple topics I'm discussing. I'm gonna kind of bounce back into question. So good evening, everyone. I have a couple updates with you all today. Some are administrative, others are kind of office related. I kind of just first like to start addressing my role in Senate meetings. Which for the most part is like I don't really have a role because I'm not a voting member. But I'm primarily here just to observe and grant advice when called upon. Sometimes when it's like a more pressing thing, I might text one of you guys or text Senate leadership. But generally I just want to make sure I understand what the consensus is. Like, this is your meeting. In Robert's rules, it is out of order for the internal vice president to kind of call on people from the crowd. Our association's a little different with that, where it's like, maybe it's better for the AG to raise his hand where you do something dumb. But I just want you all to know, like, if that ever happens, you guys can appeal the decision of the chair. If you ever feel like I might be overstepping, just want to reiterate that this is your meeting.
I don't like any feedback you guys might have on my participation in the meetings, if you know, if you need any guidance on how to proceed or just, you know, what you might think on like my participation as a whole, very much open to that. And then second, this is, I just want to like, emphasize that this is not really like an urgent matter. It's an interesting one, but I wanted to address with all of you guys before your term's over, because technically this is something that can be solved within a year. So I kind of just want to go back to the basics of legislations, its wording and the types of legislation. I know this might sound like a repeat to you all, but there have been numerous legislative errors that I've found recently. So I appreciate everyone kind of being attentive to this. So basically in the Senate, there's two types of legislation, bills and resolutions. All resolutions are technically bills, but not all bills are resolutions. It's one of those like little things. But so just for the sake of this conversation, we're just going to say that the overarching categories, legislation, and then bills have enacting clauses and resolutions have resolving clauses. So policy 6 of legal code depicts this pretty thoroughly. Legislation starts with whereas clauses. These are mainly just here to give context to bills, and according to policy, they have no binding effect whatsoever. Personally, when I was a senator, I'd kind of just skip these sections and read the actual legislative changes first, because that's the actual substance of what is going to be enacted, and then maybe go back for context. But at the end of the day, they mean absolutely nothing besides context to what is being legally changed. And to continue on, bills are semi-permanent changes in legal code. They remain after your term. I call them semi-permanent because they could always be amended in the future. But the main point is here that they're here after this year. And then the enacting clauses, the actual legal changes of a bill have to follow policy 6 guidelines, which is be it enacted, like therefore be it finally enacted. That is what makes a bill. Otherwise, if it's resolving, if it's be it resolved, it's now a resolution. So this is like the most important part of a legislation. There's been numerous bills from a lot of agendas. I'm going to be compiling a list for you all that have been resolving clauses. So those need to be amended in the future. But again, it's a resolving clause. Resolutions last a year. So we have time to fix this. That's why I'm kind of hounding out that it's not a big deal at this point. This kind of started with like the bill to amend Part L Center legal code last week. So that was, you guys fixed that quick. But there's just the reason I kind of hound on this is you don't want legislation in the future that you might have intended to be a bill, be an enacting clause, contested in the future, because that is the make or break difference. You pass a whole thing of legislation, it was resolutionary clause. Someone can contest it in JC and get it axed, or future Senates could. And so I've been kind of like also going after a lot of legislation recently, just at least not like going after, but like reading it. Kind of just asked everyone to be a lot more attentive to like categorizations, formatting, review as a whole. I kind of want to go back to whereas clauses because I want to reiterate that they're legally non-binding. I messaged the authors of a resolution to establish the first Gen and BIPOC peer preventer advocacy program. There's an entire legislative outline in the whereas clause, which means that the program is currently established without any actual legal outline. So I don't know if that was intentional or not. I don't know if it's an accident, but if you want that to be the legal outline, I would recommend you do another resolution and incorporate that into it. And then our next topic, I kind of just wanted to discuss what I've been seeing, which is the amending of agendas following its distribution. Historically, in our association and our interpretation of Robert's rules, it's been generally understood that the agenda after it is sent out is the Senate's property. So the agenda cannot be amended by anyone following its distribution and can only be done so in a meeting. This basically just ensures transparency, accountability, making sure that it's actually being deliberated in the body before it's maybe a couple of people that are deciding what to include after it's sent out. Also just for consistency purposes with the public can see the agenda. They know what they're going to come into and expect in a meeting. No senator is going to be kind of like caught off guard by some random change that was kind of arbitrarily made. And then again, to amend the agenda, 50% plus one majority following its prior to its adoption, after its adoption, it's 2/3. And then lastly, this one's I'm following up on a process that began in February, has continued through June, is being finalized in the next week, maybe two. But on Monday, I attended the meeting with the former executive director, Marcelo Marquez, and interim executive director, Sean Lieberman. I was asked by the former executive director
to support those two in this process, because currently there is not really any procedure on what to do with peer-to-peer confidential information in our association or university-wide that Marcella was like knowledgeable about. And so I'm just making a public statement that at the meeting, I witnessed that all personnel files have been transferred to Sean Lieberman, which included all the work on our laptop from an SSD, the transfer of her main key in the executive director's office to the main cabinet there, and then the relinquishing of both her work phones. They're also in the process of transferring a storage unit and all of its contained documents. Currently, there's a couple other contracts that need to be transferred. We don't really have procedures for transferring contracts from one executive to other that I know about, that I know of, or Marcella knows of. So we're waiting for guidance. Then following all this, I'm basically going to be writing up a statement just confirming this is all to essentially remove any liability should personnel data get out and whoever is to be held accountable for that. And then also at the same time, myself, I'm discussing with the current interim executive director, and I'm looping the president as well. We're looking to create those official protocols and all those practices for how we handle hard copy and digital files that contain confidential documents and information. Really no process. So we really need to set those up because to have a legal maintenance of the confidential data that the executive director might be in possession of is pretty important. And this kind of just includes like how long we hold on to it, how we handle other data, after how many years do we destroy it or do we redact it? I'm also working on this for JC and AG right now because we have a lot of past documents with cases and information that could be potentially detrimental should someone request them. So we're setting up those procedures as well for my office, and I'm soon to talk to JC about that. So yeah, I'm sorry about like the super long response. I know there was a bunch of topics. So any questions you might have, we can kind of work through them, and if not, lovely.
Senator Wahid, just my new comment, just relating to the individual specific comment you mentioned about the parents program in particular. I saw your email when it communicating towards that, unfortunately during the time period when my AS email was currently inactive, so I couldn't communicate properly and stuff, but that was just to give you we can discuss about this afterwards, but for more detailed communication that was intentional regarding towards that, and just due to the timeline about this particular initiative and depending on the success rate, I made it that we discussed about that to be.
Any other questions?
Sorry, so about this documents in the storage unit, one, are they paper? And then two, on a follow-up, if they're paper, are they being electronically like transcribed?
I'm not entirely sure what is in our storage unit. I think most of the documents are in paper form. Also, just to put it out there, I've not all the confidential data that I was just I haven't viewed anything particular. I don't really know exactly the contents of the storage unit, but all I know is we have a much more thorough list that I'm not privy to that is in the process of being transferred.
Senator Claire.
Thank you for coming tonight. With regard to the problem with the lack of procedure when it comes to archives, the previous 74th Senate, I believe, passed a resolution trying to fix the lack of archiving, I guess, in AS. And I think I would love to work with you on this project when it comes to, do you think, my question is, do you think legislating this would be a good idea? Okay. Yeah, as the policy centers, yeah, I think it'd be good for it to come from you guys. Do you think that it would be better if, say, an office was charged to, I guess, create those procedures instead of like legislating it within AS legal code, those procedures, specific procedures? I think since it's a very like specific issue that only applies to like a few parts of our association, I would say we can kind of revisit this and discuss with the executive director to kind of see how we move from there. It might even be like within the president's responsibilities, but not entirely sure at the moment.
Senator Lucan.
Thank you for coming, AG Iden. Who has access to these documents that you're talking about?
So all the confidential documents that I've been referring to are very specific subsets of documents that have a lot of personnel data that just cannot be like legally viewed by anyone else. So the executive director has been entrusted with that. This includes like
I know recently we discussed like HR policy and how like we're not exactly allowed to know why someone might be let go, or like a lot of involvement in the hiring process in general. So it's entrusted to the executive director. Some of the information is granted to the president. I think it's in a very limited capacity, but I'm not exactly knowledgeable what extent.
We are out of time. Last question.
President is legally responsible for the functioning of the executive director. In your opinion, as Attorney General, should the president have unfettered access to these documents?
No. I think it's one of those things where it's, we might have our own internal legal code that says one thing. We're still subject to state laws, UC policy. For example, there's a constitutional amendment in there that is kind of similar to what we're talking about with like the president and the executive director that was in last spring. Our Senate was told this is by HR policy, this is not implementable whatsoever. There's a lot of things in legal code like that, and that's one of them where it's like, yes, they are responsible for their functioning, but there's certain things that kind of go beyond the scope of our association. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks so much. Okay, is there anyone else here for administrative reports? Okay, we're good. Without objection, we'll now move back into item C, new business. Do the authors of a bill to establish joint oversight of USSA fund wish to speak?
Point of information,
Yes.
do you want to ask Dean Joaquin if he's here to give a report, or if he's just in the audience as a audience member?
Dean Joaquin. Are you here to give a report, or are you just like here for audience as an audience member? Wonderful. Thanks so much.
Whatever you need.
Okay, back to a bill to establish joint oversight of USSA fund. Would the authors like to speak? Wonderful. Okay, Senator Mulkey, you have the floor.
Okay. Sorry for just coming in here kind of late. But essentially this bill is to establish a joint oversight of the USSA fund. What it's basically doing is it's standardizing the use of the USSA fund to any other BCU MOU that the Finance Committee has, meaning that they any person requesting money, and we decide that's going to come out of the USSA fund, they can go directly to Finance Committee for, or they can go to the EVPSA for, and it will essentially just require an approval on the opposite party. What it has been before, or if we don't pass this bill, is if, let's say, some sort of group needs to use some sort of thing that can be used for USSA, and they go to Finance Committee because they don't know that it's going to come out of the USSA. But afterwards we go oh, you guys are not using our exception. We can't do Finance Committee. We can't do yada, yada, yada. You guys need to go to a separate meeting with the EVPSA. They go to the EVPSA, then they need to wait an additional week for it to be affirmed by the Finance Committee again. And then afterwards wait for it to be affirmed by Senate. So that's almost a month at that point. And USSA, it is I know this is a conversation we had. The USSA is a lock-in for a defunct organization that's been recently kind of spring back being brought up, but it's not in UCSB as of now. So essentially what happens with that USSA fund is it goes under the mission statement of the EVPSA. And what we have been using that money oftentimes recently for, because this goes under the mission of the EVPSA, is for travel. So a lot of people have, I think 90% of the Finance Committee requests have been either for some sort of travel, some sort of culture, social, some sort of STEM-based club that needs to engineer something like Gotcha Racing or Gotcha Rocket or ACM. And since we get a huge influx of travel requests, a lot of them are last minute, it would just make it a lot easier on also the EVPSA office, as well as us and the RCO requesting money for sake of time, that it can just be a joint oversight of that USSA fund and just a secondary approval from the other side. So we don't need to defer them to the separate meeting. That's just the idea behind the bill. You guys can read it.
Okay, would the second like to speak? Oh, no, she's not present. Okay, okay, well, thank you. I welcome any discussion. Senator Hepburn?
So right now, in the status quo, any request from USSA does have to be approved by finance and the EVPSA. It's just more complicated, or does only one have to approve it?
So essentially, for USSA right now, they need to go to EVPSA office first. And then afterwards, EVPSA grants it through USSA and it gets approved from finance committee. And oftentimes why this is annoying is because people don't know they need to go through EVPSA. They go to finance committee first and we tell them, oh, sorry, you guys need to go to EVPSA office. So it just annoys everyone.
Do you have a question, Proxy?
Yes.
Oh, Senator Pasher, thank you.
Yes, I have two questions. If the chair will allow back and forth if necessary. Per the Attorney General's recent spiel on legislation being accurate, you're therefore, I will try to attend wherever this gets referred to and tabled, but I can't always promise that I can be at every single committee meeting, so I'm going to recommend this on the floor, that the first three therefore be it enacted clauses be revisited. Because I don't think that I think those are meant to be whereas clauses, but I could be wrong. You might just need to change the wording of them. And then number two, I think this is a great idea to make things more efficient. I know people are coming in. Just as a safeguard, is the EVPSA on board with this? Have you communicated with EVPSA? Yeah, I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I actually worked with the EVPSA to write this. We've had like 3 meetings where we so we have had a lot of communication, and Leia's because she's been really annoyed about the finance committee because we tell people to go to EVPSA, her meeting passed, so she's working with debate team at like midnight, literally finding a new hotel for them. It's frustrating for her at the same time.
I would also appreciate it, but we should refrain from speaking about other people's intentions and emotions and whatnot. Keep it strictly to personal.
Okay, my bad.
Just a heads up.
It's just for the time's sake for all of us. That's why we kind of agree on this bill.
Thank you. Senator Fan?
Yeah, I mean, this bill is great as long as it helps speed things up. A question is, or I think since we're in discussion, when this does get tabled to, I'm assuming liaison committee, because it's about internal affairs. If they could do we can allow for an endorsed section by the EVPSA office, just so that it is shown that they did do it, because right now it isn't physically stated, but that's it. Yeah, that's it. I yield.
Yeah, Senator Wahito.
I guess now that you mentioned about the lazy committee part, I was just thinking about additional clauses, just for as I was mentioned about by some of the public forum speakers today in particular, maybe adding additional clauses to kind of provide explanations when maybe alternative BCUs or other organizations, when they all go to come and request for funding, that this is also further to concrete the explanation about why this particular legislation is important if other BCUs or other entities are unable to help with the funding as well. So that's just an example.
Thank you.
Senator Lucan?
I just shared with everyone a research brief that Senator Manikova, the former Solicitor General Sandy Greaves, and I have worked on last year about the USSA fee. It raises there are some really seriously significant concerns with the fee. And this has nothing to do, there's no negative connotation or no negative correlation with what this bill is doing. But I want to make everyone aware of this because I believe that it's a very critical issue. And it's a symptom of more underlying issues that we have within the association and fees as we have all become aware. So I'd like to make everyone aware of this, and I intend to motion this on to discussion items for later in the meeting. Even if there's not a thorough discussion on it, I would like it to be on public record. Yeah, thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Patrick and District.
Yeah, so I didn't know how much context we're allowed to add and stuff. During a meeting that I was a part of last year, there was a presentation given by the USA official relating to the USSA fund and the process of kind of reestablishing what's going on with the USSA currently. It's not really something that's full-fledged yet, but I do believe that they are working on kind of reconstructing the USSA as an organization within potentially these few following years. It might not be something that comes to your attention immediately, but I do think it's interesting and relevant for the Senate to know if people were not aware of it. So there is work that's gonna happen to kind of try and reestablish what it used to be, but Senator Lugan is absolutely correct that there are some issues with it because of the lack of kind of regulation and understanding around what this is for, what the target is, and why students are paying this fee without a real organization that controls it.
Thank you. Any last commentary? I would welcome a motion. Senator Sussman.
Move to refer the bill to establish joint oversight of the USSA Fund to Finance Committee.
There's been a motion to refer a bill to establish joint oversight of the USSA Fund to Finance Committee. Is there a second? Senator Thin?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Wahidullah?
Call the question.
Question has been called. Are there any objections?
Objection. Would this be liaison committee if the questions and regarding it is about like kind of more internal affairs rather than it going to finance committee when it's been proposed to finance?
Senator Sussman?
The reason I tabled to Finance Committee is because this deals.
Point of order, aren't we in an objection? Mr.
Yes.
We move back into discussion, don't we?
Objection's still live.
Oh, okay. Well, we can either, the person who objected can either rescind their objection.
Can I rescind my second?
Yes, you can rescind your second.
Point of order, we're still in an objection. The objection has to rescind or we are moving back and then we vote on the objection. And then it's like a whole thing.
Thank you. Okay. So would you like to rescind your objection?
We move back into discussion, so that would be not rescinding my objection.
You can rescind your objection and then we would move back into discussion.
Oh, I thought if I rescind my objection, we will move into the
You're right.
motion.
I'm being it wrong. If you rescind your objection, then the second can rescind their second. And then if there is no second, it would die on the floor. If no one else seconds it.
Okay, I rescind my objection.
I rescind my second.
Second has been rescinded.
No, point of order. If the objection is rescinded, we're now waiting for a call to question.
But then the second rescinded their second.
Okay.
Second has been rescinded, so it's first is existing. Motion, so on the fourth.
Point of information.
Yes.
So it was my understanding that the question was called and then an objection was made. So if the objection was rescinded, then we would still be in the call to question and the chair could ask for consent. Am I wrong?
So we motion first and then we ask for the second, right? We ask for seconds, then we will go into like.
The call to question was called,
Discussion,
and
yeah.
then
So we rescind the call and rescind the second, right?
the call didn't rescind. It was the objection that rescinded.
So objection rescinded, so we're on discussion.
No, we're past discussion.
Yeah, past discussion, correct.
Yes, because someone called the question.
Senator Lucan.
No,
So yeah, so if the objection stands, right, we would see if we approve the objection to go back, or like if we vote yes on the objection, and it's not rescinded, then we could go back into discussion. If we vote no on the discussion, then we move into consent or voting on the motion. In this case, if the senator says that she rescinded her objection, which I don't know if she was, sorry, I can't speculate, but in rescinding the objection, then the question had already been called. So unless there's another objection, the chair would then naturally ask for consent. And then we could see if there's another objection or if there's consent, then you can say, then the chair could ask, is there objection to that consent? So it's just a step-by-step process. Yeah.
So
Point of order?
Yes.
The question at hand here is whether the second can rescind their motion after the question has been called or not, because as it stands, the second has rescinded their motion, but I don't believe that the second can rescind their motion after the question has been called. So I think the rescinding of the second is out of order, therefore the objection still stands. We're called to question. And we're back at the call to question.
Well, I would actually like to ask Holly for some guidance on this, because the objection was rescinded already, so someone can object again, so that that objection still stands, but from then the, process of moving forward of, either the second wanting to rescind or moving forward to vote against the motion.
Chloe? Point of information, is the audio working?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe just like type into there just in case.
Eric, Clara?
We're currently in discussion, correct?
No.
No. Objection. I object.
Okay, great. From here. It's the process to voting against the motion, so.
It's the process to go back into discussion. To vote, we move into a hand vote to go back into discussion.
Okay. Raise your hand for yes, moving back into discussion.
Which sustains the objection.
Yes. Okay. No. Nay. Abstentions? One abstention. Okay, motion passes. Now we are back in discussion. Thank you for the patience.
Yay.
Senator Fessman.
The reason, to make this brief, the reason why I referred this to Finance Committee is because this is purely a financial bill. There's nothing related to BCUs nor the oversight of BCUs in this bill. I think it's most appropriate that this bill go to Finance Committee and the following go to Liaison.
Senator Wahibula?
I think just tying into that, just having from her, like maybe Senator that could maybe elaborate a little bit on their own individual perspective, but I just think just it's tying to what Senator Sussman mentioned about it, just like going over this legislative piece, I think it's just primarily fiscal. And back when it comes to that, especially with the additional report that was just brought up onto us today, I feel like it has more clarification to more financial and fiscal issues rather than internal particular things and clauses. So I feel like that this would be more handled best in Finance Committee. And if it's necessary, we could have Liaison Committee representatives come to the Finance Committee to discuss fiscal points. So yeah.
Senator Mulhees?
I don't know if this is like a conflict of interest, because technically the first or the second of the bill is the chair of the finance committee. So
Senator Sussman?
Not a conflict of interest whatsoever.
Senator Paschen?
Just a reminder, or two things, the authors of the bill can have a recommendation of where they would like the bill to go, and number two, we can motion the bill to go wherever we want, so if it wants to go to Finance Committee, we can go to Finance Committee, it doesn't matter.
Senator Fan?
Yep, sorry, I guess as a point of parliamentary procedure, were we supposed to count the amount of people on the Hound vote and should it be reflected on the agenda?
There was only one abstention, so it's gonna be everyone, the total number of present senators, and then.
She is.
Oh,
It's okay, no one left like during.
point of information, we have a PPP center, did you count that abstention?
Two abstentions.
Two abstentions, okay.
Okay, Senator Mulhees?
Call the question.
Question has been called. Are there any objections?
Point of information, is Senator Vance still the second
Yes,
for this, but did she not rescind it earlier?
it was out of. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It was out of order.
Okay.
Oh, second. Well, after, our both are rescinded.
The objection was rescinded and then to.
Yeah, the both objection and the second was rescinded.
Okay, question has been called. Are there any objections?
Consent.
Consent?
Thank you. Are there any objections to consent? Seeing none, the motion passes. Again, thank you for the patience with the procedural process. Moving on to a bill to cap uncapped positions. Do the authors wish to speak? Sure.
So, I worked on this bill with our CCO and we communicated with, the relevant, committees that are in this, bill, which I think the only situations are AS Food Bank and the Office of the Attorney General. There were, two instances in legal code, that weren't like, updated where the positions remained uncapped, which would be some sort of like ethicality issue because technically that means that entity can recruit infinite amount of people for that position and just receive a bunch of honoraria under their budget. So we just decided to kind of clean that up in legal code and fix that in the relevant areas. There were two relevant areas where this kind of applied to. The first of, I just clicked on the wrong bill. The first is the Attorney General, and that's in regard to their caseworkers, I'm pretty sure. And so we just kind of like removed their. I just clicked on the wrong bill again. We just changed that to the number that the Attorney General wanted, which was 3. And then same with the food bank, and that was the duties that was the internal affairs coordinator, in which we kind of removed the parentheses just to make it one singular position. And we also changed OCL, which used to be kind of SEAL, to SEAL groups on the legal duties of it. Yeah, pretty simple.
Second, like to speak?
Yeah, I can add like a brief additional explanation towards, it's just like tying into what we are doing currently right now with the liaison committee wise, just from my own individual role as like a liaison committee member, as well as from just, I guess, tying to liaisonship to particular entities that are present in this piece of legislation that we're gonna be having. I do have, and I have the intention to mind that probably this is going to be referred to the liaison committee and stuff, to have intentional conversations, to bring the stakeholders or people from these particular committees, just to make sure they have continuing conversations about this legislative piece, to make sure and ensure all their wishes are met regarding towards it, as well as the Food Bank Advisory Committee, because they are tying to other entities related towards the food bank, to ensure that there's no thing that is interconnecting with one another, to make sure it's all up to par and everything is fine. So liaison committee wise, also food bank wise, I'll be making sure and ensuring that it's all up to date to all the voices of internal operations of DCUs with this piece.
Okay, now welcome discussion, Senator Passion.
So you mentioned that, or if the chair will allow back and forth because there are questions.
Yes.
You mentioned that you are working in conjunction or have, I guess, for lack of better words, like you have the blessing of the Attorney General to put down 3 OAG caseworkers. However, there are currently 6 or 7 OAG caseworkers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 OAG caseworkers. So I'm a little confused at why it's at 3.
I would love to answer that, but this is just what I received from the Attorney General that he wanted to update the legal code for. The Attorney General is here, not here anymore, but that's what he said he wanted. So he may not have that amount now, but if we fix legal code for next year, then we'll have that amount for next year maybe.
You asked for a backup call, so I'm sure if we still have, okay, Senator Lucan?
Yeah, I think I can speak to that question. I asked the Attorney General the same thing, or I made him aware of it in case he didn't know that, but that the positions were being cut. In legal code, if you have 3 positions, he can still hire more people and then request honoraria for them, which is what he did. So effectively, if he had 3 and he's hired 7, it can't guarantee that anyone past those 3 is gonna receive honoraria until he comes to request it from the Senate. And he's already requested that amount, and we've given it to him, so he has enough, or the Attorney General's office has enough to pay their honoraria, if that clears that up.
Senator Harder?
I'm gonna motion to table it. So, I motion to table a bill to cap uncapped positions in legal code to outreach committee.
There has been a motion for a bill to cap uncapped positions to liaison committee.
Outreach committee.
Outreach committee, thank you. Is there a second? Passion?
Okay.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Mulhees?
I just got a question on why.
Okay.
Wait, were we in?
We are? Oh, I
I just said why. If I can get an answer.
Okay, Senator Harder?
Well, we have to table it regardless. I'm looking at a few mistakes on the wording of the bill. It says 75th Senate assembled, not 76th. So that needs to get fixed. And outreach, I mean, it's not necessarily specific to any function of any committee. An outreach committee is equipped to handle this, so that's why.
Senator Lucan.
While we are equipped to handle it, I think as it's a liaison like deal, I think I would prefer to not do the work for it and pass that off to liaison respectfully. So I would be open to it getting rescinded and going, but again, we are capable of handling it if it stays in outreach.
Senator Wahidullah.
Excellent to a particular point. But the goal is looking into this as well for this piece of legislation. There could be potential BCUs or internal entities that might have, uncapped or capped positions that aren't aware about. And if we do have them, there could be potential other entities or opportunities that might want to be having their additional amendments being brought upon to this legislative piece. I want to make sure that from the liaison committee perspective, internal operations, that we can have this holistically shared with all other internal entities and ensure that maybe other BCUs that were not communicated properly enough can be involved in this legislative piece and they can have their voices heard better to this. So yeah.
Senator Weaver.
Question for, sorry, the authors. Were the food bank and attorney general offices just the two entities that came up to you both to mention the cap? So this is not a comprehensive, all the BCUs that have an unspecified number of positions, right?
Excuse me, this is out of order, right? Because we're in not that this question is important, but we're in the discussion on the floor is the referral to outreach committee.
You're very
We
much
can-
right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Senator Sussman.
On the motion to refer, I'd recommend liaison committee, simply because this doesn't deal with internal affairs. And I know for fact there are other offices within the association that do have uncapped positions. And the reason I know is because I spoke to the chief compliance officer about this, so I'd highly recommend that this go to liaison committee.
Senator Wahidullah.
And tied to what Senator Lee mentioned about, and that's what I just talked about earlier and stuff, that we did not intend for it to become a holistic, majority thing when it comes to referring this to the liaison committee, but just in case to some urgencies of some particular offices that could be having some issues related towards having their uncapped positions, we want to make sure that they have their voices heard, and I think it's best to have that in the liaison committee, just with our existing platforms, I think it's more certain communication.
Senator Moss.
Okay, so answering Senator Lee's question, because it's not out of order. It's not out of order because we're in the discussion about where to table it to, since we brought up the motion to table it to outreach. So I think this kind of ties it into my opinion why I should go to liaison committee. But we've so technically the CCO and I went over the entire legal code to see any situations where there was an uncapped position and those were the only two entities. In regards to our communication, the Attorney General has been very communicative. However, I've sent a total of 3 to 4 emails to Food Bank, but they have not responded to me with a complaint, but they also haven't really gave me sufficient information agreeing to this bill. That's why I prefer it to go to a liaison committee, since Senator Wahidullah and the liaisons can help us communicate to Food Bank to just make sure that this is not gonna be something that's a problem with them. That's why I kind of wanted to go to liaison committee.
Senator Harder.
Okay, guys, I have no commitment to this bill. If it wants to go to liaison, if people want it there, then I am happy to not have to work. Just was trying to refer it, so please,
Senator Patrick.
liaison committee,
Second
please.
rescinded. Okay, the second has been rescinded. Would the first like to rescind? their motion?
Yes, I rescind my motion.
Okay, motion has been rescinded. No, someone can still second it. Okay. Senator Dan?
Motion to refer a bill to cap uncapped positions to liaison committee.
There's been a motion to refer a bill to cap uncapped positions to liaison committee. Is there a second? Senator Chaudhry? Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Wahidullah? Question has been called. Are there any objections?
Consent.
Are there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, the motion passes. Okay, last thing under new business is the HIP proposal for the super kitchen. If Senator Harder would like to speak.
Yeah, so I have a little speech right now. Take about 3 minutes. Sound good? Okay. Just gonna go up here. Okay. Thank you to all of my fellow senators, the staff members who have committed their professional lives to us and to our fellow students. Thank you to the members of the media who are here to ensure that our democracy remains whole, which of course means freedom of press and freedom of speech. And most importantly, thank you to the students of UCSB, our constituents, friends, family, and the people we serve. I'm indebted to you for choosing me to serve in this position, and I'm committed to serving you all. Like many of you, I joined AS because I want to make a difference in my community. I could have chosen to join a BCU or CalPERG, or I could have chosen to join the Nexus or another media outlet, but like all of you, I chose the Senate. The question is why? Why join the Senate and not one of the countless our school has to offer? This answer is very simple, and it's the mandate and the ability that we have. As senators, we are chosen to guide and support the only government institution in this city, the entire world, as a matter of fact, that purely represents the students of UCSB. Who else does this? Our administration? No. We all know that they have their own motives. IVCSD? No. That's closer, but still not on the mark. We, the Associated Students in the Senate, are the only governing body in this city and the entire world, as a matter of fact, that purely serve the interest of the students of UCSB. Further, we are an organization that commands a remarkable budget, reaching the millions of dollars. In short, this body is the most powerful and capable entity on earth that purely represents the needs of the students of UCSB. That is an honor, and it in and of itself is a mandate. That mandate: make change, do something remarkable. Don't waste your opportunity to change the lives of the students we represent. They chose us and placed us in these seats, so we cannot let them down. For me, not letting students down looks like picking up where others have failed. Where the administration of the federal government has failed to feed millions of people and thousands of our students. When this occurs, there is failed leadership. And where others failed, we can succeed. This is what the Super Kitchen represents. The Super Kitchen is about serving our students when the oligarchs and the despots fail to do so. It's about stepping up to the demands of our times and mobilizing what power we do have, because that's what leaders do. The Super Kitchen will feed thousands and thousands of students in a safe space that welcomes all students with open arms. The Super Kitchen represents one thing and one thing only: justice to the students who are hungry and who rely on us to do something about it. The difference between these students being fed and then literally going hungry lies in your vote. I urge you to consider what really, really matters: the students who need to eat. Don't allow the politics that paralyze our federal administration to infect us. This kitchen is nothing more than a safe space to come and eat. No one involved benefits financially in any way. All parties are nonprofit donors that make no profit, even the catering company. I have to admit, in that regard, I struck us a deal of a lifetime. With that said, I thank you all for your time and attention to this very brief speech. And all I can ask in return is to feed the students of UCSB. Thank you.
And I'll open the discussion. Proxy.
So I noticed that in the proposed meal, it says that it's gonna be a protein, starch or grain, fresh vegetables, and a homemade beef or chicken broth. Does that mean that this is not gonna be accessible in any way for vegan or vegetarians? Or does that mean that you have another option that is a smaller allocation for those sub-communities?
No. Very brief answer: there will be another option for those subcommittees. Yes.
Please remember to be recognized. Go ahead.
Okay, additionally, I understand that usually we want to keep programs open to all people, but seeing that we are dealing with a direct crisis where SNAP benefits are not available to certain students, would you like to preferably allocate it to those students who receive SNAP benefits? Or do you view that as a violation of kind of like the purpose of the goal of what you're going for?
Okay, I'm good. Yeah.
Senator Harder, go ahead.
Yeah. Two answers to that question. One, I don't think we should limit it. And then two, I believe that pretty much the only limitation that we could conceivably have is the budget. But in all honesty, we have literally millions and millions of dollars that is not being spent. We need to spend money. And this is relatively cheap. So if the budget, if more than 1,000 students come each time, then we will simply increase the budget.
Senator Reese?
Also, a lot of the outreach for this is gonna be like through EOP, Promise Scholars, and different like organizations that will reach those. It's like 5,400 is the estimate students at UCSB that are actually on EBT. So hopefully, since the marketing will be heavy in like those resource departments, then it'll impact those students.
Senator Wahiullah?
I understand we're in particular discussion, so if Senator Pasher has a more of a briefer question, I think they can go first, because I have a bit of an interest to go on or back and forth.
Senator Harder?
Yes. I gave everyone one of these, just when you get a second, go over it. It's the working draft of the MOU. It's what I would say is nearly complete, but needs to be perhaps addressed. So I'm hoping this gets tabled today to one of the committees. And we can talk about that, but just wanted to call everyone's attention to that.
Senator Lupin?
Oh, no, I just need to draft the MOU. I don't.
Oh, wait, there's one right. Senator Pasher?
Yeah, I think this is very well put together, to say the least. I just don't see, maybe I'm skipping over it. Why high impact project proposal? Just out of curiosity.
Senator Harder?
Yeah. I mean, to put it really simply, I think that this fits the definition of a high impact project really, really well. And I also think that if the high impact project proposal fund were to deplete in any way, all we would have to do is allocate more money to it. Like, we would literally just allocate more money to it. So I'm not worried about the finances of the high impact project proposal fund. And then the other thing too is I actually really like the way that the high impact proposal requirements, I like the standard that the high impact proposal comes with. It's a good standard for us to meet. It's a self-imposed standard that I could either choose to go through or not go through. And I don't want this to fail. I want thousands of students to get fed. So I want this to go through the highest standard of AS legislation possible.
Senator Sussman?
Yeah, so I think this is a phenomenal program which you're putting together. I do have just a couple of quick concerns and questions. So this would use up 70% of our HIP for this school year. With that, I would be concerned in asking the author of HIP if this could potentially be split up into a couple, because should this program, which I'm hoping it works to the full extent it does, but if we sign $50,000 to an MOU and it's unsuccessful, which I'm not hoping it is whatsoever, is there a way where, I know there's also a pilot program in there, but that will be after signing the HIP. So is there a way that this can be split up into, multiple weeks rather than a 7-week contract, which will give an endless amount of soup that may go to no one? So those are truly my only concerns, but with that being said, thank you for putting together a program that can benefit all students.
Senator Harder?
To address your first concern in regards to the ability to actually serve students, I will say that Senator Riz and myself have been putting together probably one of the most comprehensive outreach programs that I have ever seen. We are guaranteeing that at least 80% of the soup will be taken, at the very least. We are in communication and planning to communicate with literally countless orgs. We are working very, 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 very hard to make sure that every single student at UCSB knows that this is a thing. Further, 50K, maybe 70% of our budget, but we can literally allocate more money to it. Once that budget is depleted, we will literally motion to allocate another 70,000 to HIP proposal, and it's fine. So it's 70% of an endless amount of money. Not endless, but you know what I mean? Like that can be contributed.
Roxy Kundecha?
Where
do you plan on getting the money to replenish it from exactly? Like, what account? Do you know?
Senator Harder.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna speak on the specific account now, just because I know that finance is a very, very complicated.
Yeah.
But I will say that I've spoken to the financial operations team here, I've spoken to our finance operations team. And they've assured me that this is possible and that the pulling from accounts is something that. I mean, it's not my job to pull from, to figure out which account it's gonna be pulled from. I've just been assured that we have plenty of money to do this and to do this throughout the whole year. To put it really simply, without like leading you on, to be honest.
Senator Wahidola.
Okay, just first of all, before I go in a bit of a back and forth in this project in particular, I just want to say that I do think that this is a very commendable achievement, and initiative I can tell it took a lot of extensive work and time as well as detail when it comes to creating this pilot program initiative. Once this was released, I've had extensive communication with not only from my individual position as a senator, but also as a liaison committee member who is involved with multiple BCUs and RCOs and organizations, as well as students, and also independent from my role as Associate Students member, just from communication from the basic needs perspective as one of the student coordinators that is involved with trying their best to communicate with the things that are ongoing happening right now with the crisis happening, like EBT and SNAP cuts happening, of just basic need programs across campus wide, as well as ACE Food Bank. And after communicating with a lot of our supervisors and particular things, we had some particular multiple concerns that we wanted to address when it comes to this initiative as well. That I can just have some back and forth questions regarding towards this. One is just from communicating with a lot of supervisors that are involved with existing programs happening with the crises happening with EBT cuts. There has been concern about just communicating about how have you discussed about other existing or alternative things of redundancy as well as existing food and I know I've communicated with before. There is a lot of other multiple food release systems, a lot of existing food structures are working right now to negotiate and communicate right now to help aid as well with this crisis happening right now at the moment. And have you communicated with them, as you mentioned, about your extensive outreach system? Have you been in talks with other basic need program systems that have been working on creating super kitchens or basic need kitchens or other alternative things that help maybe use this HIP proposal to, instead of creating a new initiative, maybe to help allocate this funding to current programs that are already working on initiatives to help with this program? Because like if I can recall right now, I've been communicating with like Food Not Bombs, which is an example for towards that, a lot of basic need programs and alternatives, and just generalization towards that's one question.
I get the question. Can I answer that question?
Senator Harder, you may answer.
Okay, so first of all, none of those ones are gonna be open on the weekend. That's like the biggest thing that we're pushing, is not a single program on this campus, and as a matter of fact, in the community, because we did the research, will be open on weekends. That's why we are specifically happening on weekends. The rest of them go Monday through Friday, some of them close on Tuesday, some of them close on Thursday, whatever. None of them operate realistically when they need to be operating. And so, for one, to answer your question, yes, we have been in communication with plenty of other orgs. We've spoken to a couple of the executives of AS about it and have essentially incorporated it into a much grander food security strategy. And we've discussed that, right? And then again, we're filling a gap that is currently open the weekends. That's the reason why we're doing it.
Senator Wahidola.
Just tying towards it when it comes to, I agree, that's also a great initiative to help with things that are happening right now, if lack of adequacy with having funding supporting resources over the weekends. But maybe as another example of some other particular concern that I've brought upon to our supervisors working with the Basic Needs Committee, as already has been in talks about from Senator Pasher as well as Senator Lucan, about just the fiscal efficiency and the opportunity cost about this fiscal fund and the amount that I've seen in the MOU, because you have mentioned about regarding towards just being around 50K or 50 around the estimation towards 50K regarding towards this for specifically only 9 events, meaning around just 5,600 over the weekend. And after communicating a fiscal impact towards this amount could also alternatively fund almost towards 2 months of AS Food Bank's operations or helping to extend their hours, or hundreds of CalFresh application stipends that particularly are the exact issues happening right now, which is EBT and SNAP programs rather than other specific issues, as well as a semester long, maybe an EBT education system or greater support programs, which are things currently right now Basic Needs is working to uplift with this current situation happening right now. That could be aided and expended better with the funds instead of making these specific programs, to other new programs that we don't have the surety that it could be like, there's no really extensive or concrete detailed evidence that these programs and this funding can help students as much as the existing programs that are happening right now that have guaranteed success rates.
Please remember to not speak on another senator's perspective and behalf. Senator Harder.
Yeah, so again, to not to bring up the cliche, but we are entering very uncharted times. And it's very difficult for me to sit here and listen to the argument that a hot bowl of freshly served soup free of students is not going to serve students as equally as a credit card that can take them to get food. That's a very, very slippery argument to make. And it really doesn't hold in any way. Again, and also further, there is no evidence that serving hot soup on weekends doesn't provide people more nourishment than serving them a credit card. So again, like, concerns are very well heard, but we have to do what we can as an association in the moment to serve students. We have literally $1 million budget, millions of dollars, and this is only $50,000 of it. The opportunity cost of not doing it could potentially be much, much worse than the opportunity cost of doing it, right? So again, concerns are heard, but they have been vetted, discussed, and thought through and incorporated into a grander strategy of giving students both. If this is a question of not, is it this or that? We have millions of dollars. It's more like a question of, when are we gonna do both? When are we gonna let the politics of deciding whether or not to do one or the other be put down and just recognize that we can do both? That's the question.
I did see Senator Pasher's hand. I don't know if Senator Pasher, okay, you're good. Let's start with the just.
I just wanted to say, I think my biggest concern would be the financial aspect, and if, as Senator Harder mentioned, the fund is one that we can replenish. I think, specifically speaking, this would identify as a high impact project, and supporting other funds and supporting other things like the food bank wouldn't exactly come from that fund. So it wouldn't really be like that situation where you're saying money's being taken from one place and not being put in the other. The biggest reality is high impact projects, as Senator Harder mentioned, have a very strict and enforced guideline. And because of such, it becomes almost difficult to find something of that caliber. But when you do find something of that caliber and you're able to kind of support it, and as well as that maintain certain guidelines of a high level, I actually believe that it is a better idea to go ahead and push forward with a high impact project when you see an opportunity for one, while also keeping in the back of our minds that we have other abilities and other ways to support other avenues. Because I think while conflating the two like situations doesn't really compare properly.
Senator Mullins.
Okay, I really don't want to make this comment with the intent that it's gonna uprise any frustration or anything, but I don't support this project just fairly politically. Hello Food Kitchen has allocated their money towards Israel as a Jewish and democratic state while allocating support for Israel as a whole. While I do not have anything against any Jewish students on our campus or any Jewish individuals living on the planet Earth as a whole, I don't have any support with giving an organization money that's donating to a country that is involved with a highly political conflict that's currently going on in the world right now. That's why I think this program is a beautiful idea if we find another organization to host it.
Senator Harder.
Really quick, I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna table it. That's completely false. Hillel has never donated money to Israel in any way. That is false. Like, I don't know how else to say that. It's a nonprofit organization that is designed to uplift the community around it. People, literally anyone, Muslims, Christians, Jews, literally anyone can go to Hillel and get food, including this one, completely for free. Hillel has not contributed money to Israel in any way, and nor are they going to benefit financially in any way from this program. No one is collecting money. As a matter of fact, Hillel is actually taking a loss, literally, and so is the catering company that we're doing this with. So just wanted to clear that up really quickly. There is no financial support for Hillel, nor does Hillel financially support anyone at Israel in any way. Wanted to make that very clear, and then, yeah, if we want to refer.
Senator Pasher.
Can I just get like, it doesn't have to be a back and forth. Ono, are you about to motion to table?
Yeah.
Okay, I would not like to motion to table real quick, so I'm in discussion. Just really quickly, because this is really off top, like you guys are having a one conversation, I'm on a different, like this is a different plane right here.
Yes.
AG item just delivered to us that we should not be, once the agenda is out to the Senate, it belongs to the Senate, and everything that is on the agenda should stay as is. Currently, I'm looking at an estranged front page, and I've also looked at the edit history, and it appears that the author of the bill has gone and changed the title of the name, and also the front page is messed up, just to put it frankly. So, I don't know, I'm gonna probably, I don't wanna speak to Senator Lucan's intention, but I'm working on legislation to make sure that everything is submitted as a PDF in the future. I don't know what we would like to do about this as a body moving forward, but I just like to bring that to everyone's attention that there was a title change and there is a format change to the thing for some reason. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys would like to do about that or if there's discussion on that. But ultimately it's up to us to decide if that's an error or not.
Thank you. I would like to entertain that as long as it pertains to this HIP proposal and not just legislation in general. Senator Lucan.
Yeah, I think that there's a broad statement, obviously it relates to this project. Us spending the association's money for projects that are going to impact many students is an amazing thing, and that is what we should be aiming for, to spend our money on things that will have a direct impact that we can like easily measure. So from that broad perspective, I think this program is amazing. I would like to see a pilot, for lack of a better word, to guarantee that this goes through, which I believe is something that's in the works. If the author could clarify that, I would appreciate it. But again, if we can see the measurable impact over the 500 meal 2 weekends, it would be perfect to then move on and we could pass more funding for this.
Senator Wahidullah and then Senator Harder.
Yeah, I'll just make a quick comment, just tying to what was mentioned, but in particular, just an apologetic remark. I did not mean to specification towards individual senators, as well as taking away from these basic need programs, because I definitely agree, creating no basic need programs take away from alternative ones from now for obvious cities. It just kind of ties into what Senator Lucan mentioned, more coherently, better wording, that because it was mentioned about, I had more of a curiosity towards this being a pilot program or not, because just for the sake of using the allocation of funding to know if it's a successful program or not, to make sure that we're ensuring that although we do have the maximization of quite a big fund as the perspective of Senate body, that I want to make sure that we're helping to maximize the efficiency of supporting students during these crises with the current, if as successful as maximization as possible. So that's what I wanted to clarification towards that. So thank you.
Senator Harder.
Okay, I'll answer all three of you guys if I can in one swift motion. Starting with Senator Patrick. I changed the name very admittedly because the name was misleading. If I get in trouble for that, I'll take an infraction or whatever. I think we're allowed 3 of them, something like that. Okay, I got 2 more. Won't make any more mistakes. Don't know how else to say that. Happy to accept take the L on that one. We're feeding thousands of students. I'll take the L. Second thing, Senator Lucan. Yes, in the MOU, it stated that we're going to be tracking every single meal signatures. We're going to be tracking the success of this thing very closely because and both of you guys, it is a pilot project. It is a pilot. If this thing falls flat on its face, we won't do it again. It's done. If it succeeds, then we as a Senate will have started a program that will feed thousands of students for years to come. I yield.
I would like to move it along. So Senator Lucan, last comment or motion?
Yeah, I can specifically just procedurally, can you clarify then? Because it looks, it says to launch the pilot phase, we're requesting 50,000. But then on the MOU, it says that it costs 5,000 for the pilot. So you can just clarify procedurally what it would look like if we pass the original funding and then later the full funding.
Senator Harder.
So the way that we've decided to move forward funding wise is to designate to the responsibility of paying their staff, or not their staff, paying the catering company staff. That's the other thing. The catering company is different from Hillel. Hillel is literally just donating their kitchen to use. and the catering company is coming in and donating their time to use the kitchen. So it's two separate entities that are donating their resources to us to use. The only thing that we're buying is food. And it costs $5,462.50 for that food. Times 9 roughly 50K. That's what we're paying for. The pilot program's duration is that. So that's what we're paying for, to clear it up.
Thank you. I would now welcome any motions. Senator Ono,
I'd like to motion to table the high impact proposal for Super Kitchen to Advocacy Committee.
Refer to advocacy.
Or refer it to Advocacy.
there's been a motion to refer the HIP proposal, Super Kitchen to the Advocacy Committee. Is there a second? Senator Reese?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Malhese?
Okay, respectfully, also like on the financial logistics of this, as well as my former comment, I feel like this bill should be paused and reworked a little bit through the authors. It's not as simple as just, you mentioned that Hillel is just simply providing the kitchen and then afterwards there will be a separate like labor service providing the actual meals and we're just paying for the meals. We need to have W-9s from every single person that's working, proof of everything. This all needs to be communicated and sorted out. And as of on this document, there isn't such like thorough like data points that really cover all of that. That's why I kind of want to see like a much longer and thorough HIP proposal or proposal for the use of this funds. And it just, I don't want to put that work on advocacy committee to do that in their next meeting. It's gonna be something that takes a lot longer.
Senator Porter, was that in order?
I do think it is in order because of, we are in the motion to table it. So it is valid to say that it maybe shouldn't be tabled.
Thank you for clarifying.
Senator Harder.
I would just encourage everyone to read the documents that I handed out. And they do specify things of that nature. And then of course, there might be things that need to be further worked, but I'm not trying to pawn out work to advocacy committee. There are certain things that it needs to go through committee anyways, so we might need to rework it a little bit in committee. That's what committee is literally designed for. So I don't know what else to say other than let's use our systems for what they're designed for.
Sorry, wait, it's okay. I was asking.
Proxy Conductor, did you?
No,
Okay.
it's okay. I'm just asking.
Well, we are still in discussion. Senator Asher.
Called a question.
Question has been called. Are there any objections?
Consent.
There,
Objection? I'd like to request a hand vote.
okay, consent to move into a hand vote?
Point of order, I believe objection and then vote on go back to discussion or objection rescinded, and then
I believe the hand vote is to actually table it to advocacy.
there's an objection right now, so we have to address the objection, which is
You're right, thank you. Would you like to rescind your objection and move into a hand vote?
Yes.
Okay. All right, are there any objections to the consent? Okay, we will now move into a hand vote.
point of order, I think, because
Senator Sussman?
At the chair's discretion, a vote can be any way, shape or form. It can be voice vote, hand vote.
we've had consent.
To move into a hand vote.
No, consent motion passes.
We didn't.
Consent, and then you called for any objection to that consent, then we had an objection to the
To move
consent.
into the hand vote.
I have no idea what point of the motion we are in, then I would like clarification on where we are at.
Senator.
I believe I can clarify. So since the objection was rescinded, the body gave consent. And then from that consent, the chair decided that we're moving into a hand vote which is the chair's discretion per our standing rules.
Senator Lee?
I think it's just because Senator Malhese didn't verbally say, I rescind my objection. That's, I think, why Senator Pash is so confused. So if Senator Malhese is rescinding her objection, if she could just verbally say, I rescind my objection, that might just be helpful for the floor.
To clarify, you did rescind your objection? You,
I rescind my objection.
okay. Now that we're all on the same page, that the motion, that the objection was in fact rescinded and consent was given, we are now moving into a hand vote to table the HIT proposal to advocacy committee. Thank you. Refer it to advocacy committee. Please raise your hand if you vote yes. Ten votes for yes, please raise your hand for no.
Point of information, other votes online counted?
There's no
Sure.
For no, please raise your hand. 2 votes for no, please raise your hand for abstentions. 2 abstentions. And then do we have anyone on? Senator Shawtree? Please.
She was I excused her at 8:30.
Thank you. Yeah. So 1 abstention. Okay, motion passes.
No, there's 2.
2 abstentions.
2 abstentions, they don't. No. 2 votes for no and votes yes, motion passes. We're all good? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are now done with everything under new business. Before I call a recess, I would like to pass the chair on to Senator Sussman for the rest of the meeting, as I am excused at 9 p.m. Awesome. Okay, thanks, guys. Recess for 15 minutes. Be back here at 9:10.
Maybe back, so I'll see.
Who's taking notes for you guys?
Guys, it's a chair. You guys are
Okay.
Cheers. Not a senator's husband.
What's your?
Was. I just feel to me for so.
You're really fine. You'll be fine.
You guys are upset. Amend as agenda.
Okay, I'm muting. Literally.
Good, that's us.
Okay,
Thank you.
I turned the audio.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14 senators here. We are at quorum. I'd like to formally recognize the presence of Senator Rajan. Thanks for being here. Let's see, we left off in item C, new business. Or we finished item C, new business. I would like to now move into action items with unanimous consent. Wonderful. So we have 2 action items, and then on my end, there's just an administrative error that we need to correct. It'll be 3 motions, very, very quick. And then we'll finish up action items. The first action item is a bill to update Article 6, Section 13, Outreach Committee referred out of liaison committee with amendments. Would the authors like to speak on this bill?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Senator Luca.
The only changes are, in purple, 1 at the very top. There is actually a fiscal impact. We added a position, so $900 a year, not including summer for honoraria. The therefore clause, it was resolved, but as the Attorney General told us, it should be enacted. So that was fixed. Thank you, liaison. And there's also 1 random grammatical error. And so those are all the changes. Other than that. Oh yeah, will there be an enacted clause?
7.
Yeah, and I did address that. So yeah, thank you. That's all.
With the second on the bill.
Yeah, I just wanted to extend a warm thank you to liaison committee for getting this done. I believe that it wasn't able to get done in 1 meeting because of timing issues, and then they did an email vote or something of that nature. They did something, they got it done sooner than we expected essentially. And I just wanted to say thank you for that. Really, really appreciate that.
Senator Pastor.
Just curious about the highlighted passage that you're currently on. Lucan, is that supposed to be loose like that?
Senator Lucan, sorry.
Yeah, I don't understand your question. Sorry, could you rephrase?
Better than.
I can answer.
Senator Pastor.
Yeah, I believe it's not supposed to be loose. This was supposed to be number 6. I think maybe someone within our committee accidentally deleted it. And then no one noticed when it was discharged, so we could open it up right now to change, to do that.
Oops.
She's talking about the, yeah.
Wait, point of information, I'm sorry, I don't understand. What are we talking about?
Senator Harder, we are on the top of page 3 of the bill where it reads to strike out, make, and then in purple, send. A tri-weekly Associated Students email struck out. Emails on behalf of the Associated Students to the student body which must struck out, should in red include, comma, but is struck out are not limited to, and then the following. So the amendment is or the format of it is out of, not necessarily out of order, but it's formatted incorrectly.
Yeah.
You'll see the numbers. So Senator.
If there wasn't a formal motion made to do that and it was literally just a typing mistake, then I believe that the correct legislation would have that implemented and we don't need to do anything. We can literally just add it in, just procedurally. That's how it is.
Senator Fett.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that in using PDFs in the future, it will show what is intended and like what it looked like referred out of committee and then what it's supposed to be on the floor. But that would be, I guess, an AG or maybe a JC question. I think it's just perfect.
Senator Fett.
Yeah, just to reflect, if you looked at the meeting minutes, which I know we're late, apologies. There's no, all the motions were written down. There's no motion to delete where this should be a section B. That's it, I yield.
I think the proper course of action just could be to motion to open the bill and then with consent of the body, we could just motion to fix all formatting errors. That'll be the simplest thing. Senator Lucan.
We could do that, or I think because it wasn't changed, we can admit it right now, and if someone has an issue, they can bring it to the Attorney General, and as the author of the bill, I'm happy to deal with that.
As the chair of this, the way that I'm interpreting this is that this is what was sent to Senate. This is what is on the Senate floor and cannot be amended until the Senate body opens it. And if we pass it as is, then we're passing it as is, which includes that formatting error. If we open it and just make a very broad motion to fix all formatting errors, then we can simply just hit enter and then it'll go to the correct format. So that's kind of where my stance is. Senator Harder.
So basically, it looks like we either open it now, change it, and then accept it as amended, or we table it to another committee and or the same committee and have them fix it and look at it next week, right? Those are the options.
Those are the options, correct?
Okay. Next question I have is,
please be recognized.
Sorry, I thought I was continuing to read.
Senator Harder.
How do people feel about just amending it here? I feel fine with it, seeing as the mistakes are very, very unique, likely to not be repeated again. Therefore, this is a unique circumstance. We can't change it. If not, then let's just table it. It's literally just like, I'm fine with tabling it, but let's, like, if we can get some sort of idea of where people are at.
We can do an informal vote.
Or what the appetite of the Senate is.
Senator Pastor, did you have your Senator Lucan?
Yeah, I think it's fine to just open it now. Also, can we clarify for next meeting, if this were to ever happen again, what the correct procedure would be? Because it makes no sense that it was sent here. You're right. You're absolutely right that this is in front of the body. But if someone in a committee has editing access to legislation, and just does something to it, and there's no formal amendments recognizing that, we need to know how to reconcile with that in the future. So it would be, I'm not saying this is your job, I'm saying this to the body, to everyone here, that we need to clarify that because this is easily a mistake that could happen again with more dire consequences, and we need to understand what the process is. That being said, I agree that we should just fix it now to be prudent. I yield.
Senator Asher.
Yeah, I think that the way that you would like, I guess, have a paper trail is to look at the meeting minutes of the committee that edited it, and if this is not reflected in the minutes, then it's not accurate, it's not of the understanding of what the committee discharged, so I think it's fine to just fix it, but if you feel it's prudent to open it and do it, okay, then I guess.
I think this conversation is going in circles.
yeah.
So I'd like to see a motion to open. Senator Harder.
A motion to open a bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee.
There's been a motion to open a bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee. Is there a second? Luca.
Second.
The motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Mahis.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Is there any objection to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objection to that consent? Seeing none, we are now on the bill. Senator Lucan.
I yield.
So the proper procedure here is to now just make a blanket motion to just have the formatting corrected to the 76 Senate standards and to fix all formatting errors. Or not the 76 Senate, but to fix all formatting errors within the bill. Senator, did you disagree with that? Okay. Senator Allen.
Motion to correct all formatting errors within. Should I say the bill title again?
Yes, please.
A bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee.
There's been a motion to correct all formatting errors within a bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee. Is there a second? Senator Lee.
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Harden.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Now we have to close the bill. Senator Allen.
Motion to close a bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee.
There's been a motion. Sorry, I'm gonna fix the formatting error real quick.
I fixed them.
Thank you, Senator Lincoln. There's been a motion to close the bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee by Senator Ono. Is there a second? Senator Lee.
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion.
Objection,
Yeah.
we have to say as amended. We closed it, but we didn't close it as amended.
Yes. With the first and second.
I rescind.
I rescind my motion.
Harrison.
Thank you. Senator Ono.
Motion to close a bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee as amended.
There's been a motion to close a bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee as amended by Senator Ono. Is there a second? Senator Lee.
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Harder.
Call the question.
The question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes. So for everyone where we're at, the bill was amended, the formatting error is fixed. Now we would need a motion to approve or a motion to vote on whatever language you would like to use on this bill. Senator Ono.
I'd like to motion to vote on a bill to update Article 6, Section 13 Outreach Committee as amended.
There's been a motion to vote on a bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee as amended. Is there a second? Senator Harder.
A second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Thang.
Call the question.
The question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing none, we are now in a hand vote on the bill. All those in favor to pass a vote on or to pass a bill to update Article 6, Section 13 of Outreach Committee as amended, please raise your hands for aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Senator Sundararajan, are you voting on this one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. Okay, hand are different now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Any noes? Any abstentions? Bill unanimously passes. Congratulations to the authors. We need to put it to standing rules that you guys can do 6 or 7. It's the next item on the agenda is a resolution to affirm membership rights in the association reported out of advocacy committee with amendments by Senators Claro and Lucan. Would the authors like to speak on the bill?
If you want to go first.
Typically in order, it's first, or the first author, then the second, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, in that case, I think this resolution is due its notice to students because of the past actions by the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office this last week, I believe, wherein they were called during council meetings, and they declined to basically comment on any immigration activity over Santa Barbara County. So that is a concern when it comes to our constituents that are undocumented. But what this resolution does, it's not just a resolution, but it's standing with our constituents along with them in these times of really scary threats of persecution for just being here. That's just how it is. But in passing this resolution, I hope that the anxiety kind of stays in our campus. This will be along with another bill from Senator Lucan that would basically solidify an announcement system here at UCSB for our undocumented students. Yeah.
Thank you, Senator Clara. Senator Lucan?
Yeah, nothing to add. I think this is an issue that had come up a few weeks ago. But the regardless of what is kind of presently happening around campus or like, you know, news at the time, this is something that's important and I believe should be resolved by the 76th Senate. So I would encourage everyone to vote yes.
Thank you, Senator Lucan. Are there any additional comments on the bill? Senator.
Just on the amendment side from advocacy, this was all just like minor clerical stuff that we did. Nothing major was changed in the form of this resolution. I just want to put that out there.
Thank you, Senator. Any other additional thoughts on this bill? Or resolution, my apologies. Bill is my default. With that being said, I think I would like to entertain a motion to vote on or approve or use your language on this bill or resolution. My apologies. Senator Wiggle.
Motion to vote on a resolution to affirm membership rights in the association as amended by vote.
Yes. There's been a motion to vote on a resolution to affirm membership rights in the association via as amended by via hand votes. Is there a second? Senator Ono.
Second.
The motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Fan.
Sorry, we're in discussion. Does it need to be, the language need to be to vote or to adopt?
Robert's rules is pretty flexible. What's more important is the action that you're taking. So motion to adopt is essentially one and the same. We spoke about this a couple meetings ago with Attorney General Hyman. So it can be adopt, vote on, approve, any of the above.
I'd like to clarify too that motion language is only relevant insofar as the judicial body overseeing what the motion can interpret it.
Is there any further discussion? Senator Millais.
Question.
Question has been called. Is there any called question? Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing no, motion passes. We are now in a hand vote. All those in favor of passing this bill, resolution, thank you, Senator. All those in favor of passing this resolution, please raise your hand for aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. Senator Sundarajan, anyone else on Zoom? Okay, I have to recount. Please, hands up for aye. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those against or no? Any abstentions? 1, 2, 3. That is 12-0-3. Motion passes. Resolution passes. Congratulations to the office. Okay, as I said, there's a couple procedural issues that I just have to correct real quick. Senator Patrick.
You can go ahead.
Thank you. So the first thing, I'll explain what it is. Essentially, on the 10-8 agenda, one of the members of Transfer Student Alliance is listed underneath Committee on Committees. There was just missing a heading of Transfer Student Alliance, so we just have to go into the agenda. Agenda amenda, as Senator Lucien says so well. We have to just amend the agenda to fix that really quickly, so that way the member of TSA is listed underneath TSA constituency. So I would like to welcome a motion to open the 10-8 Senate agenda. Senator Wahila.
Motion to open the attendance on the agenda?
Yeah, there's been a motion to open the 10-8 Senate agenda. Is there a second? Senator Lee.
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Oh goodness, seconded. We are now in discussion. We are now in discussion. Senator Gutierrez.
What a question.
Motion has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes. We are now on the 10-8 Senate agenda. If you could copy and paste now, thank you. The motion is listed on the agenda. It's a motion to amend the agenda under item M, appointments and resignations, adding the words Transfer Student Alliance underlined above the words resignation of Sadie Harrison as Health and Wellness Director. Senator Lee.
Motion to amend the agenda under item M, appointments and resignations, adding the words Transfer Student Alliance underlined above the words resignation of Sadie Harrison as Health and Wellness Director.
There's been a motion to amend the agenda under item M, appointments and resignations, adding the words Transfer Student Alliance underlined above the words resignation of Sadie Harrison as Wellness Director. Is there a second? Senator Smith.
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Claire.
Call the question.
The question has been called. Is there any objections to the called question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes. No, last thing is to close the agenda.
Sorry. Point of information, doesn't need to be reflected in the 10-8 Senate agenda as well. You have to put in that little.
Thank you. Now we just need to close the agenda. So is there a motion to close these 10-8 Senate agenda? Senator Molly's.
Motion to close the 10-8 Senate agenda.
There's been a motion to close the 10-8 Senate agenda. Is there a second? Senators, please have the quorum. Is there a second on the motion? Senator Van.
Second.
The motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Lee.
Sorry, was Senator Van's question answered? If that has to be reflected in the 10-8?
I'll go for it.
Point of information / order. I don't really know which one it is. Apologies. Is this the AG's recommendation that's how we remedy it?
No, that was my conclusion, Senator Pastor, which is it's just a simple procedural error, which was that they were appointed to TSA, and similarly to Lucan's or the bill that was just passed. There was just a formatting error within the agenda, and the words Transfer Student Alliance got lost and deleted. So we're just simply adding them back into the appointment because they were already appointed to TSA. So it's just a formality fix. Senator Lucan?
Yeah, in the original meeting minutes, when we've approved motion to approve all appointments or however the motion was made. When we approved the appointment, was it clear to everyone in the body that they were getting approved for Transfer Student Alliance? Later it got deleted, or were we under the assumption that they were getting appointed to Committee on Committees?
I cannot speculate on how senators look at or receive appointments, but being that there's no such position in Committee on Committees called Health and Wellness Director, and that only exists within the association as within TSA, I would assume most senators would, I would hope that most senators would catch that and assume that it was within TSA. But again, I cannot assume on senators reception. Senator Lincoln.
So to be clear, it didn't say Transfer Student Alliance.
It did at one point, and it was lost either after editing or somewhere in the meeting process. The words Transfer Student Alliance were on the agenda at one point. Senator Pastor.
Just because I don't have the minutes open right in front of me, was it a bundle and approved? Was that included in the bundle and approving, just for?
I can tell you right now.
I believe if that's the case, then it would have been bundled and approved anyways if it said TSA, so I think it's fine.
It was a motion to bundle and approve, and I will say that there is a significant, we do spacing for motions and appointment or appointments and resignations. There is a clear space where there was supposed to be. I don't want to spend too much more time on this. It's just a procedural. Senator Lee.
Call a question?
The question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question? Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing none, the motion passes. The agenda is closed and it is reflected. Thank you both, or thank you all for getting through that. Okay, I would like to now move into Senator Pastor.
I'd like to motion to amend the agenda to add a discussion item.
We are in action items.
Okay, I'd like to motion to, apologies, I got mixed up. Motion to amend the agenda to add a resolution to establish a Department of Legacy Gauchos Discovery and Feasibility Committee to section G2, or sorry, to action items.
There's been a motion to amend the agenda. Can you please provide me with the resolution?
Yeah.
Read the text it to me.
Yeah, I was slacking it to you. You have a Mac.
Can you,
Do you want me to?
can you text it to me? Please don't. Bye.
Yeah, then please. I can. Just. No, just.
Okay.
Senator Matt, okay. Senator Pastor.
Also a motion to amend the agenda under item M. Be highlighted. Oh, right, correct.
There's been a motion to amend the agenda under item G. Action items. And add a resolution to establish a Department of Legacy Gauchos and Feasibility. Though Senator Pastor, this was tabled to a committee last meeting.
No, it was tabled to this.
Oh, it's tabled to this meeting. I apologize. Then I am mistaken. This is within order. Is there a second on the motion, which is a motion to amend the agenda under item G and add a resolution to establish the Department of Legacy Gauchos Discovery and Feasibility? Senator Megan.
Second.
The motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Lucan.
I have a point of information.
What's the point?
When would the proper time be to amend the agenda for discussion items?
In discussion items or under the acceptance of the agenda.
Thank you.
There's been a motion and a second. We are now in discussion. Senator.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna speak on the resolution. Essentially, this has, sorry, I just got distracted. Essentially, this resolution was introduced in the very beginning of summer, was tabled to committee, never made it out of committee. And here it is. That's all I'll say. Nothing has changed. It's the exact same as when it was presented to you the first time. And I am looking to move forward with this project. As there were some discussion last meeting that has, I guess, re-sparked the need for something like this.
I don't wanna. Okay, we are still in the middle of a motion, though. President Metzger does need to speak on some items. So if we can go through this motion, which is to simply just amend the agenda and add it, we can come back and speak on the item. Senator Lee.
Call the question.
Question has been called. We are, is there any objections to the call question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes. We'll come back to this after President Metzger speaks. Do I have unanimous consent to move back into item I3, unit reports? President Metzger, would you like to speak on the President Cabinet's report?
Thank you.
You.
I spoke last week about some security initiatives and I have a bit more clarity and some proposals for you all. So as I think I communicated with some of you over the weekend, I met with the basic needs. I met with Rebecca Segundo from Basic Needs, and she was essentially telling me about their grocery voucher program, where students are, certain students may be eligible to receive up to $100 in grocery vouchers per quarter. But they do have limited amounts of funding for it. And so I know that she was intending to go to SFAC for an emergency grant for that, but I was hoping that associated students could also contribute $15,000 to basically to provide $100 of grocery gift cards for 150 more students, because of how there's 5,400 UCSB students who are on EBT who are not receiving their benefits this month. So you might have seen I sent out like a AS-wide request to entities requesting contributions so that we can kind of all pool together some of our resources. And you know, because people, they have to bring this to their committees and whatnot. So far I've gotten commitments of $5,000 from TQCOM, $4,000 from CFF, and then interest and contributions from TSA, IVCRC, HRB, CAB, and GGC. My request from you all would be to essentially suspend your standing policy on tabling like financial requests for the week and basically make a motion to approve $15,000 to UCSB Basic Needs for their grocery voucher program. And then I will be working with the contributing BCUs to journal entry their contributions back into Senate unallocated. Essentially, this would just allow like one transaction to Basic Needs very speedy. So they've already started so that they can start, purchasing and distributing more gift cards. So the motion I would request would be 15K, but it's looking to actually be more like around 5,000, depending on BCU contributions. And kind of to echo some of the conversations earlier, this is really time sensitive request because we're 5 days into November and people don't have their food benefits. So I'm hoping the exception can be made and that you guys can really prioritize getting students who need their funding for food. And also just to clarify some questions, people can access these grocery vouchers if they go speak with a food security and basic needs advisor at the USEN. And from there, they will assess their need and offer potential solutions, including the grocery gift cards. So that is one project plan that I'm asking you pass, and I will take questions about that before I move into some other things I'd like to talk about.
Not to correct you, but there is no standing policy on tabling financial motions, it's more of a formality and expectation. So there will be nothing that we have to strike from or exempt ourselves from standing policies. It's just good practice and good nature, and President Metzger has done her due diligence and spoken to Senate for the past 2 to 3 weeks about this and created formal group chats with this in mind. So I will not give my opinion, but President Metzger, feel free to continue. Or unless there's any questions. Senator Malise.
I think this is a wonderful idea, and I don't want to speak on behalf of the Senate, but I can speak on behalf of myself, and I would be of doing this financial motion today on the floor. I just wanted to ask about like basic needs. Is how can you speak on behalf of how efficient they will be with helping students in need and like giving them if you can like specifically like how like the students will receive like these benefits from basic needs, because I feel like basic needs this year has been maybe a bit slow with some processing help for students and stuff like that. You can speak on behalf of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason why I'm choosing to go through basic needs as opposed to, just purchasing the gift cards myself and distributing them is that they already have like the processes for buying gift cards in bulk and also like assessing students' needs. Because again, we're not being able to buy gift cards to every single student who receives EBT. But they are able to, their advisors are able to speak with students in need and give them the resources that they see fit, because some students might be even higher risk and would be referred to like the financial crisis response team as opposed to these methods. So they have more expertise in that. And also I believe that like students in need are more likely to like know about like basic needs and their services as opposed to like a specific AS program. And it's also my belief that a student who like comes there and is in need and they like assess that this is like the right like not solution but like right program for them, is that they would have the gift cards on hand and just be able to give it to them right away. I received like one of my friends told me today that she got gift cards today like right away.
Senator Clara.
I can answer that more directly. I actually worked at the Basic Needs as an advisor, but how it goes usually with these pre-screenings for these gift cards is that if they show enough financial need and if they satisfy some of the requirements, they immediately get these grocery gift cards. And one of the problems, thank you, by the way, on behalf of the entire like advocate team at the Basic Needs, because one of the problems we have is we usually don't give it out grocery gift cards willy-nilly, because there are specific strict requirements, and the fact that there's an increase in the supplies is tremendously helpful when it just comes to having the resources to give out to students. So thank you.
Any other questions pertaining to this matter? Seeing none, President Metzger, or sorry, what you doing?
It's okay, I can just afterwards, it's fine.
President Metzger, feel free to continue if you have any.
Okay, awesome. Just to sum up, so if this motion, if you guys do approve this tonight, I'd be looking to transfer the funds like immediately to Basic Needs. And then over that next week, I'll be working with BCUs to kind of get their funds into Senate unallocated. So it would be a $15,000 request, but that number will go down pretty significantly. Yeah, so that's the summary. And then another project proposal that I have for food security is to provide students with up to 2 free burritos from Super Cucas per week for the month of November. Kind of just a note about Preps Meals. Our like food bank coordinator, she like noted that like a lot of students, they do like rely on like purchasing like pre-made meals from grocery stores or things like that, because a lot of times students don't have time to cook. So I think and also this is also another good opportunity for maybe a student who isn't receiving their EBT maybe isn't in as much need to be eligible for a grocery voucher, but still could use some support. These free meal programs are really helpful for that. So my proposal is that for the remainder of November, so about 3 weeks, students will come to Super Kukas, show their UCSB ID, their EBT card, and fill out a Google form and receive 1 free burrito. They can do this twice per week. So I'm proposing that we fund 900 burritos total for the duration for the remainder of November. So this would be equivalent to, okay, and then also we've talked with Super Kukas about this and they're super down and they'd be giving us a discount for burritos to be $11 a burrito when they're, and these are like large burritos. If you've ever been to Super Kukas, these are like 2 meals low key. And their burritos are usually like $13 to $14. So it's a decent discount. So yeah, my request would be to fund 900 free burritos for students, which would be $9,900. So my request again would be $10,000. And also like, you know, just thinking through the logistics, if we were to like reach that 900 amount like close to the end of November, I would want to keep the program open and then fund the remainder out of like the ASOP budget, which in case anyone's wondering, it's like pretty limited, which is why I'm making this request. And if it doesn't hit 900 by like the end of November, we would have them, you know, make the remainder of the burritos and we would pass them out like during dead week. So this is my second food security plan. Are there any questions about that?
Yeah, can you clarify again? I might have missed it. You probably said this. Who will be eligible to get these burritos? And secondly, is there a way that we can negotiate down a better price or work with a different local vendor that would be able to give us potentially more food for less of a price? Was Super Kukas the only one you or whoever was working on this had talked to?
Yeah, good question. It would be any UCSB student who shows their EBT card. So they would be showing their EBT and then also their UCSB ID, so we can verify that they're a UCSB student and that EBT card is their EBT card. And then they'd also fill out a Google form so that we can track like how often they're coming. And then Super Kukas is the only place we have reached out to, just because like time crunch. I have worked with them in the past, so that's kind of why we reached out to them. But I haven't done specific like testing of prices at other places.
Can I ask a quick question? For the funding of this, is your office taking this on, or are you expecting us to fund your office or provide funding to your office? Just because I'm not certain of the financial policies and procedures of funding private businesses as an association.
If it's easiest, the payment can come from my office and then Senate unallocated can journal entry my office, or that I can make the payment directly from Senate unallocated.
Okay, I'll give my thought on how this in a minute. Senator Mahis.
Okay, I have also a question about the farmer, we can discuss this later. In regard to this one, I feel like since you're not really like trying to think for like the Senate support and it just can really come from anywhere, I recommend you go to Finance Committee, just submit a flux form. And I think when we see a fully an itemized budget list, and we also have a policy if there's any like request over 1K, that you submit multiple quotes. That way we can see if Super Kukas is really the best option or if there's alternatives that could be better. And we just have like a itemized budget for this, so it can be more clearly seen, and that's what the Finance Committee specializes in. That's just like the route I highly recommend.
Yeah, I think the main reason why I like came tonight is just in the interest of like timing and like getting the program off, like started next
Can
week.
I ask a follow-up?
Senator Welch.
By any chance, do you have the time to like send us some sort of itemized budget or look at other options while you're here during the Senate meeting and maybe forward?
I don't have like a written itemized budget, but it's just $11 per burrito.
Okay.
And I could like look at other restaurants. I would be able to contact them and see what discount they would give us.
Thank you, Senator Weiss, Senator Luco, or Senator Harder, I
Yeah.
apologize.
I understand the desire for fiscal accountability, but we're literally in a food crisis. We need to fund this as soon as we possibly can. There's a lot of students that literally will benefit, there's 900 students that could benefit from this if we do this now. It's gonna, when is the next time we're gonna pass this? Next week? Potentially in a couple of days when we do a vote for this after President Metzger has done a little bit more research and gotten us maybe $1 or $2 cheaper on a bunch of burritos or whatever. Like, we're gonna save maybe like $2,000 or $3,000 max if we find a cheaper alternative. $2,000 or $3,000 versus getting it funded as soon as we possibly can, right? Like, I get the fiscal austerity, but let's also have the bigger picture in mind. I yield.
Senator Harder, Senator Patrick.
I'm just wondering how you arrived at 900. I know that Senator Harder, oh, okay. Never mind on that. In the scenario that this doesn't reach the students in the way that you are proposing that it does, let's say that 200 students get burritos. Now we have Super Cuckoos making 700 burritos, and our plan is now to hand out 700 burritos during dead week, when that's not super feasible. So I'm wondering how you got to 900. And then what was I gonna say? How you got to 900? Oh my Jesus. Totally, it slipped my mind.
What the plan is, if we don't hit anything.
Just how you hit 900, I guess.
Yeah, well, my goal is once like funding is more finalized to send out an AS or a student-wide newsletter, which I do have the capacity to do through through Student Affairs, and I've already kind of received the go-ahead that if this is something that I want to send out, I am able to do that. And if we, publicity, yeah, publicity is the main thing. I ran it at 900, kind of just, I kind of worked backwards of like what budget I think is reasonable for this. And then I was also thinking like, oh, okay, there's like 3 weeks left of November. What's a reasonable number of students? So 900 is what evens out to 300 burritos a week. And if it's two burritos per student, it's 150 students per week, which I think is a reasonable amount. Yeah.
There is a speaking limit to 10 minutes. We're about to collapse that. So for the way this can be extended, but keep in mind, we also have just under an hour. Or this can be brought back to conversation next week, which is, from my gathering, not ideal. So, yes.
For officers of the association, isn't there an unlimited time on it?
Unit reports are not to exceed 10 minutes. If we can just get a motion to extend speaking time, sure. Senator Hepburn.
Motion to extend speaking time by 4 minutes.
Quick timing.
4
minutes. There's been a motion to extend speaking time by 4 minutes by Senator Hepburn. Is there a second? Senator Lucan? Oh, no, Senator Wang, my apologies.
Second.
Peripheral's not great. Motion.
Suggestion.
The motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Harder.
Question.
Question's been called. Is there any objection to call the question?
Consent.
Is there any objection to consent? Seeing none, motion passes. 4 minutes left. Senator Harder.
Yeah, I think we should fund this, see how the 900 goes, and if they all get taken, then we do another round and continue like that until the food security situation has been stabilized.
Senator Mulleys and then Senator Pasher.
Like, are you picking up the burritos every day, or are you guys gonna be handing out like 2-day-old burritos? Are you guys like distributing the burritos
No, so students would go to Super Kukas, show their EBT and their card, their UCSB ID, and then they can like. It's for the regular burrito, so it'd be like their standard burrito, you get to choose your meat and it has like whatever else the regular burrito has, and so it'd be made right there.
Senator Pasher and Senator Lee.
I think a quick remedy, so in the interest of time, is why are we cutting it off at November? Can we just do it until the 900 runs out? Is that something that Super Cruise would be open to? I think that solves my like issue with having 700 burritos that we have to hand out during Dead Week. So if we can just fund 900 burritos until it runs out, I'd be okay with that.
What if? Yeah.
I'm gonna speak real quick because we don't have confirmation from Super Kukas on if they are agreeing to this. I think the best route is your office funds it once you have confirmation, and then the Senate can just reallocate the funds back to you. So that way we're not voting on something we don't have confirmation on tonight. I think that's just the most simple route, and if they agree tomorrow, then we can refund you next week.
Sorry, to clarify, they didn't like necessarily say like, oh, we'll agree to do this like until November 30th. They kind of just said, this is a good program. We'll agree to do this. And we didn't necessarily set a date and an end date. That was kind of just something I proposed.
Sure. Senator Malkis.
Okay, now that I've gotten all the information, I think I know the easiest route to go about this. How about let's just direct money directly to their budget for this program? Like, we can direct money from AS unallocated, and that can be 10K. And then when they submit the requisition form, in order to actually like submit the requisition, you would have to have all the contract stuff sorted out. So that way it doesn't really need to go on us. It just goes to AS admin and financial operations just to check it off if it's a good requisition. And that way it just saves us all time and you can get this done and work on it as soon as possible.
Any other, Senator Lee, my apologies.
Can I ask why you decided to do 2 burritos a week instead of 1? Just because, I guess from my thinking, I believe we have, this data might be wrong, 5,000 students on EBT who are probably losing their benefits. And so my thought process, I guess, is that with the $9,000, would we not maximize that money more if we just do 1 burrito a week and really push that publicity and advertising? So hopefully that reaches more students, but I just wanted to see your thought process on why it's like 2 burritos a week per student.
I consulted my office and that was kind of like what we came to. I think my concern with 1 burrito per week is kind of what like Senator Pasher was saying about like if it doesn't necessarily get the reach. And I guess also like 2 meals per week versus 1 free meal. I don't know. That's just kind of, I feel like the thought process that my office went through.
Senator Hepburn.
Why are we not doing a flyer system that Pardal does, where like they go to you to get the flyer and then give it to them? Cause what's stopping me from showing my ID and EBT every day of the week? Is it on the onus of Super Kukas to be like, oh, I've seen that guy twice, know where they keep track?
President Metzger.
I can respond. Okay. There'll be a Google form that you also fill out. So to make the order, you show your ID, you show your EBT, and you also fill out the form. So the form will be able to track how often you're coming.
I have a lot of email addresses.
You can only sign in with your UCSB email.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
you have to write your permit.
Thank you, President Metzger. Much appreciated. Is there anything else you need to touch on briefly? So we can extend your speaking.
Yeah, really briefly.
Sure.
Motion to extend the speaker's time by 5 minutes.
It's been a motion to extend the speaker's time by 5 minutes is by Senator Lucas or second Senator Pasher.
Okay.
There's been a motion to extend the speaker's time. Sorry, I have to write this down. There's been a motion to extend the speaker's time by 5 minutes by Senators Lucan and Pasher. Is there a couple question? Sorry, we're now on this, no, oh my goodness. We're now in discussion. Senator Brown.
Call question.
Question has been called. Is there any objections to the call question?
Consent.
So is there any objections to that consent? Being that motion passes, I completely apologize, Senator, or
Don't worry.
I have a midterm tomorrow. I apologize.
Okay.
President Metzger.
Last things I've been doing is that the food bank prepared some graphics for monetary and in-kind donations, and I've been sending them to the alumni networks that I'm a part of. And also the chair of the academic senate requested them to send to faculty and staff interested in donating. So I can email you all those flyers right now if you guys are in any alumni networks or know people who like UCSB or have money to give. And then really last thing, my office, as a collaboration with the Student Advocate General Office and the EVPSA office, will be hosting an event on Monday, November 17th, 5 to 8 p.m. at Campbell Hall. It'll be a rapid response and know your rights training conducted by 805 on DocuFund. So mark your calendars. I highly encourage you all to be there.
Thank you, President Metzger. I'm not going to welcome any questions. My apologies. I think we've got our questions out, unless there are any. Seeing none. Thank you, President Metzger. Okay. With that being said, we have a couple of action items now. So let's, with unanimous consent, can we move back into action items?
Consent.
We left off on a resolution to establish the Department of Legacy Gaucho Discovery and Feasibility Program by Senators Pasher and Manikova. Would either of the authors like to speak on this bill?
Yeah, I guess I would like to ask you guys after the Senator Manikova speaks, if you would like to see this on next week's agenda or if it's proper to vote on this in this meeting. I tabled it to this week's agenda, or sorry, I tabled it to this week's meeting and it didn't appear on the agenda, so I understand that you guys haven't looked at it in several months. So if you guys feel that it's proper that we table it again, I'd be open to tabling it to next week. However, I would like to see it on the agenda next week, and I would like for it to be voted on next week.
Senator Lucan.
No.
Senator Michael.
It's okay, I don't really need to speak.
Senator Lucan.
Wait, just to clarify, Senator Pasher, like this was tabled last week, so it should have been like automatically placed on the agenda, but it just like somehow wasn't, or just mistakenly wasn't. Okay.
My bad. Sorry, guys.
No stress, but
could be perfect. Senator Pasher.
Motion to table a resolution. Huh? Yeah, I think that people should have the opportunity to look at it. Okay, never mind. I rescind my motion and description.
Well, if anyone else.
Yeah, let's hear.
We can either discuss or go into a motion. Senator Lucan.
I move to vote on a resolution to establish a Department of Legacy Gauchos Discovery and Feasibility. There's
been a motion to vote on a resolution to establish a Department of Legacy Gauchos Discovery and Feasibility. Is there a second? Senator Heaton. Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Harder. Question's been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Seeing none, motion passes. We are now in for a hand vote. All those in favor, please. All those in favor, please raise your hand for an aye vote. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Are there any opposed? Seeing none, any abstain? One. With that being said, the motion passes. 1301. Congratulations to the authors of the bill. Resolution. Okay, now that we're in new business, or not new business, we are in action items. This is where we would pass funding. So I have I have two recommended motions. Senator Then.
Yeah, a motion to approve up to 15K from Senate allocated to basic needs for a grocery voucher program with the expectation that BCU contributions are to repay a partial amount of said 15K to Senate unallocated.
There has been a motion to approve up to $15,000 from Senate unallocated to basic needs for a grocery voucher program, with the expectation that BCU contributes to pay a partial amount of said $15,000 to Senate unallocated. Senator Than, is there a second, Senator Claire?
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Harder.
Call to question.
Question has been called. Is there any objections to the called question? Seeing none, we now move into a hand vote on financial matters. All those in favor, please raise your hand for an aye vote. This is to allocate $15,000 for the grocery voucher program, which will end up being around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Any opposed? Opposed, please raise your hands. Any abstentions? 1. Senator Chaudhry, if you're, okay, 2. With that, the motion passes 1302. Okay. Let's recount the hand up. Sorry, guys. This is why we're gonna get a quicker system soon. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand for an aye vote. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is 13. Oh, 14, 14, 15. 15. 15, 0, or sorry, any opposed? Any abstain? Where, okay, sorry.
One.
We went from 13 to 14. We went from 14 to 16 with an abstention. Yes, we have 16. Okay, so this motion does pass 1501. We now have to go back into the previous motion because there was a miscalculation there. I apologize.
You reflected.
Yes, we're gonna now go back into the previous motion. Sorry, minute taker. Sorry, everyone in the room. For a motion to vote on a resolution to establish a Department of Legacy Gauchos discovery feasibility. All those in favor, this is gonna just be re-reflected. This motion passes, but it's a re-reflection of the proper vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand for an aye vote. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Wonderful, we're at 16. Motion unanimously passes 16. Yeah. Okay. The last motion, and this is up for the body, if you want to pass 10,000 this evening for an item which you were just presented. Typically, it is in the scenario that we don't, but I think this is an exceeding circumstance. And the motion I have written and recommended is a motion to grant the office of the president up to 10,000 for Super Kuka's burrito distribution program from Senate unallocated. Senator Molly's.
I'm so sorry, because I'm not gonna actually say that motion. I motion to grant Coastal Conversations $50,000 from Finance Committee fall quarter with the condition that if the RCO is successful and having it Finance Committee MOUs agree to support the program, this $500,000 will be reduced proportionally.
Sure. I'm not gonna rule you out of order. But I think it is simply unjust to spend $50,000 on the same evening in RCO, which is not fully an RCO yet, and requested. With that being said, is there a second?
I'll second on the condition that we discharge mine and pass it tonight also and fund it.
Point of order, you can't second with the condition.
I know.
Motion's not entertained.
Yeah.
If you can provide the motion language, that'd be,
Yes, I provided it to you.
thank you. If there's no second, the motion dies. I think properly, the right thing to do would be to entertain the motion next week. Though you guys have the decision to make that tonight if you'd like. Senator Ona.
I'd like to motion to grant the office of the president up to $10,000 for Super Cuca's burrito distribution program from Senate unallocated.
There's been a motion to grant the office of the president up to $10,000 for Super Cuca's burrito distribution program for Super Cuca's burrito distribution program from Senate unallocated. Is there a second, Senator Harder?
Second.
The motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Malhese. The question has been called. Is there any objections to the called question?
Consent.
Seeing none, we now move into a hand vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand for an aye vote to allocate this $10,000 to the ASOP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13. All those opposed? Senator Malhese, are you? 1, 2. 2 opposed? So 2. Any abstentions?
Here.
1, thank you. 13-2-1. 13-2-1. The motion passes. With that being said, Senator Malhese, I'll not entertain the same motion.
It's not the same motion, but we can freely talk right now, right? Technically?
No, there's no action item on the agenda. So the proper course of avenues to either make a motion or we move into another piece of business, which is the proper route.
I just feel like you made a comment on my motion without it being in discussion. And I couldn't even explain why we really need to make this motion right now, because this event can't happen if we.
I apologize if that's how it came across. Typically and this is historically precedent, that when an RCO comes in for funding the same evening, they don't request that same amount. And we also only have 16 senators in the room for a $50,000 motion, which will essentially exhaust more than 1/3 of Senate unallocated. And I think it's just not the proper time
It's not a Senate unallocated motion. It's Finance Committee.
Sure. If you want to make another motion, you're welcome, Senator.
Point of information, what is the procedure for making the same motion twice?
Because the motion
died.
The motion died, so they can make the motion again.
Yes.
How many times can you make the same motion?
I don't know.
It's unlimited.
Yeah, I think there's no.
Cool, let's do it all night.
I would not welcome that. I do not. Senator Malhese.
Okay. Motion to grant Coastal Conversations $50,000 from Finance Committee Fall Quarter with the condition that if the RCO is successful in having a Finance Committee MOUs agree to support the program, this $50,000 will be reduced proportionally.
There's been a motion to grant Coastal Conversations $50,000 from Finance Committee Fall Quarter with the condition that if the RCO is successful in having Finance Committee MOUs agree to support the program, this $50,000 will be reduced proportionally. Is there a second, Senator Harder?
A second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Logan.
Does Coastal Conversations exist as an RCO?
Yes.
Senator Pepper.
So to my understanding, usually people go to Finance Committee and if they approve, it goes to Senate to be ratified. So it's this 2-step. Are we doing that second step now? So all the Finance Committee has to do is say like, yes, we approve, and then they get it?
Essentially, this is what Eddie was explaining. It was a really complicated thing. Finance Committee actually fully approved this request through Program Board MOU, but Program Board denied it completely during their meeting. But for some reason came up to Eddie today giving them the information that they've actually been partially funded $10,000 for all the line items of the budget request, which I've sent to you guys. I just copy and pasted the flux request itemized budget to you guys, meaning that all that's left is the speaker fee, which is everything that regards to their contract that they've made with Andrew Yang's team, to basically pay Andrew Yang to come here and speak, because they thought that that portion of the budget didn't fit their mission statement, which was kind of explained by what Eddie said. So technically, this would not fall under that case by case, because technically Finance Committee has made the agreement. But in order to use the Finance Committee fund, Senate will override, if we agree to use the Finance Committee fund, it doesn't need a secondary approval from Finance Committee. It will just be like approved for Senate.
Senator Patrick.
I think that is all great. However, we do not bear the burden to flesh out their proposal. The proposal that he gave was not full-fledged. We still have a bunch of holes in the proposal. And so seeing as this is not time sensitive, I don't think that this is something that's
Senator, please be recognized.
from what I remember from his presentation, he didn't express a time concern. So if that's another hole in his proposal, then I missed that and he didn't. So it's not, we don't bear the burden. If it is time concerning, you have to come and express that urge to Senate. I don't understand, like, I was under the impression that this is just something that's up in the air, and he didn't explain that this was, unless I missed it and somebody else also got it. I yield.
Thank you. I've not been keeping track of the 2 speaking limits per item, so I apologize, but Senator Malhees, this is, I think, your second or third, so with that, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm so sorry if this is an additional time for me speaking, but in order to answer your question, Eddie has been to my office hours for the past 3 weeks. Literally every single one of my office hours to ask me questions about this request. This is their last resort. They've been trying to get this funded since summer, going to initially program board first, and last week, on Monday, 2 days ago, they ended up going to finance committee because program board wasn't working out. And the finance committee made a poor choice, which I didn't vote on, to put this through program board MOU, knowing that they deny it. Finance committee is for this whole entire proposal because it's it's a student initiative wide event and stuff like that. The date of the event is November 15th. It's a Campbell Hall reservation. But they made a negotiation with Andrew Yang to send the requisition in 2 days, which means that if we put this next week, the event can't happen. I was talking to Eddie, and this is their last resort. If it doesn't get pushed today, the event doesn't happen at all.
Senator Hepburn, this is your second.
Is there any way we could, instead of having Andrew, I don't even know when Andrew's coming, but just push him back 1 week or make it happen? Cause Eddie had, I agree, like no urgency in this. I think it's more speculation, be like, oh, like he said so during the office hours. I feel like this is such a big thing for us to grant it now with like towards the end of the night, which shouldn't be an inherent reason, but like, just like, oh, like, yeah, Senate's gonna approve it. It's like 50K here. I think the Senate should be fully aware of big purchases, especially like that, like one that the Finance Committee recently made about the library, and I would love to talk about at this meeting or next meeting. Like the Senate should like talk about these things, because I have stuff to say about that. Like, and for this one, I would hate for us to just be like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out, or you'll figure it out. Senate like approves 50K. That's all I have to say.
We will discuss that tonight, so please make this conversation brief. Senator Lukin, then Senator Harder.
Motion to suspend Senate Standing Rule C2 for the duration of the discussion on.
You're in the middle of the motion, so.
Discussion. Point of order, we're in discussion.
We're still in the. We're not yet done yet.
The motion's discussion.
Hold on, there's a motion. You're out of order.
Point of order, you can't make a motion within a motion.
We're in the motion to grant Coastal Conversations 50,000 from finance. So we're still in the middle of a motion. We're out, you're out.
We're in the discussion, we cannot make any motion right now.
Senator Harder.
Yes. Sorry, I had to collect my thoughts because that was insane.
Please don't speculate. Please, you're out of order for that as well. Sorry.
The presenter may have not communicated the timely nature of it, but the facts are the facts. This is a timely matter. It's been discussed with Senator Malhees, and it's a fact of the matter. So we can say that it's not a fact of the matter because it wasn't presented, but it is a fact of the matter. So accept that. Yield.
With that being said, we are still in discussion on a motion to grant Coastal Conversations $50,000 from Finance Committee. Full accord with the condition that otherwise, I don't need to say the rest of the Senator Lucan.
Question.
Question has been called. Is there any objection to the call to question? No, we already did this, did we not?
Motion.
Sorry.
So does this just have to be where we say like anyone says consent and then it passes, or do we do a hand vote?
Hand vote.
This is
We'd have to do a hand vote.
to get into.
Thank you.
Senator Lucan.
May I respond to, or add some more context to the senator's question?
Sure.
If also, if there's no objection to the call to question, the chair will then ask, and people give consent, the chair will then ask, are there objections to that consent? And if you object to the consent on any motion, then you move into a vote on that motion.
I would welcome, who provided the call to question?
I called the question.
Thank you. Is there any objections to the call to question? Is there any objections to the consent?
Objection.
You cannot object to your own call to
Yes, you
question.
can. Yes, you can. Calling the question means you want to ask if there's consent.
Senator Lucan, is your objection, your own question?
I want to vote on the motion, so I objected to the consent, to the call to the question.
We're consenting to go.
Consenting
Point of
to
order,
move
we're- Point of order, actually, that's not a point of order. That's not a point of order.
Senator Lucan, you don't have to. Approving this would lead to a hand vote.
Okay, then you don't ask for consent, you say we're moving.
Motion
to a hand
passed, then you move
Motion
into
to
hand
vote.
vote.
Yes, so
So then why are you entertaining it?
my apologies. I'm exhausted.
No, it is.
Thank you for the catch. We are now in motion for a hand vote. All those in favor for granting Coastal Commission or.
Point of order, are we still not in an objection? Either he rescinds or we vote out of the
Yes,
objection.
thank you, an objection.
I think my objection's out of order. Since once the call, there's no objection to the call to question, we automatically move into a hand vote since it's a financial motion.
Or for clarity's sake, can you just still rescind your?
I rescind my objection, which was out of order.
With that being said, we are now in motion for a hand vote. With that being said, all those in favor for approving, motioning to grant Coastal Conversations $50,000 from Finance Committee for fall quarter with the condition that the RCO is successful and having Finance Committee MOUs agree to support the program, for this $50,000 will be reduced proportionally. All those in favor, please raise your hand for aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3.
For point of information, did we get online for yeses?
No, we did not. All those in favor, sorry, we're gonna recalculate. All those in favor, please raise your hand for aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3. All those.
That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sorry, this year's past year, I apologize. Abstentions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Zoom.
6, 7. Stop.
What was that?
Abstention is 7. Nay is 4. No is 4.
Is it a 2/3 or?
The rest is a nice.
To be 2/3?
Yes.
It's finance.
Yeah, it has to be
4 and 7.
Yeah, it's not 2/3.
It's not 2/3. Motion fails.
Wait, it's not 2/3, it's not 2/3? Oh, fiscal motions on Senate floor is 2/3?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All financial motions are. Being that the motion failed, there are a couple of options. One, that on the opposing side can have a motion to reconsider, or this can be brought up in Finance Committee on Monday. So that being said, those are your options. Okay, seeing. I don't know. Okay.
I want to address briefly the time crunch we're in. We are absolutely allowed, we have to get out of this room. We can absolutely go into AS Main. And it is my understanding that as long as there is a recording of our deliberations, that can constitute minutes. And so I don't want to make excuses for not having full discussion on important matters because we're out of time. while I agree that we are attempting to get out of here on time, we absolutely can go into AS Main and record and have the minutes be taken. Let the minute takers go home and have like fully
Senator
functioning
Luke,
meeting.
and I also have a midterm tomorrow that I need to study for, so please just keep that in mind. I'm asking that from you as people, as students. We're students first. Please, and please, I have a midterm I have to study for. I'm just asking for generosity and care. Senator Luke.
Can you pass chairship to another senator?
No, I cannot. I'm sorry, if Senator Jones were here, I would, but please, we are Senator Pastor. Okay. We finished action items. Just looking over the agenda, I apologize, everyone. So we can move into for everyone in here as well, we will be moving into closed session, hopefully briefly, under minutes and allocations. So I think the proper route right now is to move into appointments and resignations, motion to bundle and approve all appointments and resignations should there not be any contentions. And then we'll move into minutes and allocations, go into closed session, and hopefully we'll finish quickly from there. Senator Malhese.
My understanding, it's a majority vote for any financial motion.
No, it's
It's
2/3.
not. Where does it say that?
Good, multiple times. It's under standing policy 4, I believe. The types of motions and standing rules, my apologies, standing rules, in legal code. The parliamentarian can confirm that.
Point of information, if it is, then the Attorney General can take it up, but as of now, we're operating, or I would assume that we're operating under the fact that it failed. I mean, it doesn't change. The Attorney General does it anyway, so it doesn't matter if it passed right now or if it doesn't pass, like that'll be confirmed, but like the vote doesn't change. It's 5-5 or 4-4, whatever it was.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Do I have unanimous consent to move into appointments and resignations? Consent. Appointments and resignation, there actually does need to be a motion to add an appointment to the agenda, which I simply just missed in my emails. So Senator Finn.
Motion to amend the agenda and add the appointment of Hasvita Obalupuram as student at large representative to the election board.
There's been a motion to amend the agenda and add the appointment of Hasvita. Please say the last. Obalapuram as student at large representative to the elections board. Is there a second? Senator Wang.
Second.
Motion has been moved in second. We are now in discussion. Senator Harder. Question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Any objections to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes.
Point of information.
Yes.
First, standing policy 4, all amendments to the agenda need to be highlighted in a different color.
Do that right now.
And it should be reflected all really in this meeting. It's not reflected anywhere.
That was changed because all of the late items they are in orange.
Standing policy 4 includes any agenda items that are amended in meeting.
Thank you, Senator Patrick. That will be fixed. Okay, with that being said, all appointments and resignations are on here. So do we have a motion to bundle and approve all appointments and resignations? Do we have a motion?
Oh.
Senator Weedle, thank you.
Sorry too, my bad. Motion to bundle all appointments and resignations
Bundle?
and approve.
It's been a motion to bundle and approve all appointments and resignations by Senator Weedle. Is there a second, Senator West?
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Ono.
Call question.
Question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Thank you. Let's have some spirit. It's almost the holiday season. It's almost the holiday season, you guys. Yeah. Motion passes. Okay. Now this is where we will move back into minutes and allocations. And I would like to enter closed session. So if there is a motion to enter closed session with all AS officers and takers. I think that is the proper motion for last time. Senator Pasha.
Motion to move into closed session at 10:38 PM. On the matters of finance committee meeting minutes.
There's been a motion to enter closed session at 10:38 PM on the matters to new. To, you have to
To
include.
discuss the finance committee meeting minutes from 11:3.
To
To include all officers of AS and minute takers.
There's been a motion to enter, closed session at 10:38 PM. On all matters on the matters to discuss finance committee meeting minutes. On 11:3 and include all AS officers and minute takers. Is there a second? Senator Harder.
Second.
Motion's been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Lee.
Call question.
Question has been called. Is there any